angle, but couldn't land the shot. The dark scope, the two-piece!
Trató de darle ese carpetazo, ahí consigue eliminar a Medusa y rápido se voltea y
ataque na marotagem, belo ângulo dele.
For him, he's gonna be able to take out. Oh my god! Oh no! He was down to 1 second on the clock.
Já pegou bala na cara do Master. O Almairinho vai tentando fazer o primeiro. Vai tentar o tiro porrada e bomba! Vem! Clutch muito difícil de vencer, mas...
Square on the body that you hit. He no-scoped for Apollo right there. He no-scoped.
termina eliminando a Jack y Wax queda solamente positivo por parte de RP, consigue la primera baja en este round, se da cuenta que no se puede
Ladies and gentlemen, what's good? We're back with another week of Mobile Mayhem. Excited to be back into the action. Had to miss out on last week. We had an important trip that you guys will get to see about soon, but there were some crazy games I heard that happened. A couple of upsets that I was definitely, maybe not necessarily upsets, but definitely results I wasn't expecting. Dave, before we hop into today's action, can we get a rundown of everything that happened last week?
I think our overall biggest games that you missed out on has got to be looking at the likes of Status Quo versus Seminole, as well as NYSL versus ARP, and we've definitely had some roster changes for a couple of those teams. You'll largely recognize, Bobby, Status Quo as that explicit Arsenal roster with a couple changes here and there that we see in and out every week. For ARP, we had some interesting pickups from the old OP34 lineup. One of those most notably being Detri. So definitely going to be a interesting set of games here tonight, but I believe it was NYSL Mayhem come through with a 2-0 victory over ARP and Status Quo with a 2-0 victory over Seminole.
All right. Good to know. Definitely looking to see how those teams match up. We will take a look at the schedule real quick. We do have a full 4-match lineup for you guys tonight. Primal versus Storm. Storm, one of the newcomers, obviously. Primal, been around a minute, but still looking to improve as they've yet to really make a mark on Mobile Mayhem. Seminole, one of the younger rosters in the lineup, has not been as successful as we predicted that they would be, so looking for them to maybe prove themselves a little bit more than we've seen them do so far. They'll be going up against Devious, who's definitely shown some shine in the earlier games. Then we got 11T versus ARP. 11T looking really good in their game so far, and ARP having some solid games here and there, but definitely struggling a bit. They got, like you mentioned, 2-0'd by NYSL, and they have had some forfeits as well. So they're definitely looking to step things up. And then the matchup I'm really looking forward to is going to be Tribe versus Status Quo. So obviously, Tribe Gaming, kind of known as the juggernaut of North America, going up against Status Quo, who's actually in first place by a pretty significant margin. Looking at that matchup, what are your predictions for tonight?
I'm actually trying to get everything for tonight pulled up on my end because I'm realizing I can't give you camera and have my OBS open.
Tribe versus Status Quo is the main one I'm looking at.
Yeah, I got it up now. Well, I definitely would have to expect Primal F4 to be a pretty good lineup. Primal is a team that last season struggled with having a 5th player. This season, they have a really big pickup in Shorty. Going up against F4, one of those upcoming challenger teams I expect to be even just because they're around the same playing field. Tribe versus Status Quo, definitely going to be a really big one, but also 11T versus ARP. Going to depend largely on what version of ARP we have show up tonight, because 11T, man, they were a good search and destroy in previous seasons that we cast, Bobby, but my goodness, they are looking like an absolute force so far.
Yep. I'm excited to watch them. One thing to keep in mind, 2 of those top 5 teams, and 4 of the top 5 teams being tied at 60 points, NYSL and Zygnus both have buys this week, so very good chance we see a shakeup in the standings, especially with Status Quo going up against Tribe. I don't anticipate that that's going to be a 2-0, but at the same time, we've had a lot of surprising 2-0s so far in the season. Definitely expecting for 11T to be able to pick it up against, or to be able to pick up at least one map going up against ARP, who's only managed to get 10 points so far in the season. And obviously Devious, one of those teams that's done a lot better than we expected, especially when you look at them matched up against Seminole, who is expected to be probably at minimum top 3 coming into the season. And so far, they've only managed to find 20 points. So I'm excited to watch these 2 teams go at it. Admins, we should be ready to go whenever you guys get a chance. We will run through the maps and bans while we wait for those players to get readied up. It is going to be Crossfire Hardpoint for Game 1, Firing Range S&D for Game 2. If we go to a Game 3, it's going to be Raid Domination. Crossfire Hardpoint, always a very chaotic one, and one that can swing really at the drop of a hat. So it'll be interesting to see. No surprise to see bans on the Sparrow and the Annihilator. Primal banning Takeoff. Storm banning Standoff. A little bit surprised to see that one, but we do have all of our players readied up, and we are good to hop in to game number 1.
Yeah, we do have a GA on the kinetic armor for this map, so definitely going to be, or well, for this matchup rather. And that's going to be a pretty interesting factor, but we do also have to talk a little bit about the TAC 5, because that is another operator that has come into the COD mobile scene and has just absolutely taken over a lot of the competitive games. Functions very, very similarly to how it did in Black Ops 4, and it's a pretty big advantage considering it doesn't need line of sight or anything like that. Works through walls, just overall gives your team a pretty big health boost, as well as I believe it gives the user health recovery or full health. So definitely a really, really solid option with the kinetic armor.
Yeah, right here, Storm looking very, very solid off the start. Kizzy trying to get control in P2, finds 1 kill right there. That's what he needed. FaZe trying to make the rotation through the bottom side as well. And right there, you just see a really, really solid P1 and chaining it into a P2. You got Yawn has not died yet. He's 5-0 right now. FaZe 5-2. And right now, this Primal team just not able to get any type of momentum, and really any of the matchups we've seen them play so far right now getting absolutely smoked against one of the newer teams in all of Mobile Mayhem. You see Way loves you doing everything he can to try to keep his team in it. He's got 7 kills on the board right now, but he's really the only person remotely close to the hard point. You see Kizzy pushing in right there. He's going to be able to take him out. 3 in the feed for Storm, and just like that, Looks like it's going to be a full 60 for them on that hard point, and that's probably going to spark a rotation on over to P3 for this Primal team, unless they're able to pull off some type of miracle.
Yeah, definitely looking great for Storm right now. Yawn up at 8 kills on the board. Kizzy at 7, and we've only got one player doing well right now on the side of Primal, and that's Waze, sitting at 8 and 5 currently. No streaks going for him, and just now coming up on a Death Machine operator. So definitely a big opportunity for them to make a comeback if some of the players can start to turn things around. But Storm, they've made their rotation over. You can see they're flushing out Mangoes right now, or rather, they're trying to. Mangoes does pick up one before he drops down to the point. Picks up another. Able to get one more on the point, but not enough to make the full break. And Storm heading on in with control. Spawn, it looks like, but I don't know. Maybe they're starting to spawn out now. This is interesting.
Yeah, we're
The
starting
game
to see,
playing against them.
We're starting to see a lot of those tag 5s come into play. So basically, the way that it works is basically kinetic armor, but spread across to your entire team. So instead of one person getting a buttload of HP, instead all 5 players get a small amount of HP. Interested to see how that's going to play into the meta. Looks like a lot of teams running quite a few of it. We see Meralto picking up one of the few respawn snipers you will see really ever in Mobile Mayhem. Respawn sniping, something that for the most part is completely gone, and right now you can see Primal looking to push out. They have given up all of that scrap time right now because they know how difficult it's going to be to get the break here on P4, and they're already pushed out looking to get the setup. Meralto trying to find a shot, gets one, 8 kills on the board. He's going to be able to call in a drone. That's going to be huge for getting some information, but really bad spot to call that in on, because the thing about the drone is if you die while you called it in, it completely disappears. So that is just 100% a waste. Fortunately for him, going to be able to pull out the shorty, find one right there, but the Death Machine now storming on in, and right now things not looking good is immediately break goes back in for Storm, and they can win it right here on P4.
Yeah, I definitely got to make note of something that I picked up on a chat that I didn't even recognize until I seen them say it. FaZe, actually a player that was playing on Primal at the beginning of this season. I totally forgot about that, and has now been playing with Storm. So definitely a really big player coming through for Storm, as well as one of the players that I would say probably on the lookout for possibly a rookie of the split down the road. So we'll have to see when we get there, but a very strong hardpoint win comes through to open up the day. 150 to 44 in favor of Storm for this one.
Yeah, that was not a pretty game one, and obviously we don't typically know Primal is a respawn strong team, but at some point you got to find a way to win a respawn, and they have just not really been able to do that at any point throughout this season of Mobile Mayhem. You see Lucifer really struggling. I know he was a last-minute substitution, but 5 and 15, not going to make the cut. Only player going positive is Waze, and he wasn't able to get any time on that hill. So just across the board, that was a pretty dominant game for Storm. Like you mentioned, FaZe, one of the big pickups that was formerly on Primal. Not only did he go nearly double positive, but also a minute 46 on the hill. Just across the board, really solid contributions for them. And definitely with the amount of young talent that they have right now, you got to think they've got a good shot in the S&D as well.
Yeah, they definitely do, but I got to say for S&D, Primal's still a very, very scary team, especially with the pickup of Shorty. We're looking at Meralto and Shorty as two absolutely incredible sniping talents, and Waze is absolutely a slayer for Search as well. So they do bring a bit to the table there. We might see a bit more fight back, and maybe even a game 3.
Yeah, would definitely love to see one. To be honest, I haven't casted enough Mobile Mayhem games this season to know how many game 3s that we've had, but it's got to be more than we had last season, because last season game 3s were like Dime a Dozen. Honestly, Dime a Dozen was probably generous.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah, I would say
that's opposite. Is Dime a Dozen common? I can't even remember.
The admins may correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've only had one night that didn't have a game 3 so far.
All right.
If I'm remembering correctly, so definitely been a more exciting season. I think there's a lot more talent spread out from top to bottom, so definitely looking at the likes of some of these matchups to be very, very good. Like I was saying, there's still a big opportunity where this Search and Destroy could push us to a Game 3 between Storm and Primal, but it is largely going to revolve around Waze being a Slayer and Shorty hitting those shots that she has been showing us the past couple weeks.
All right. Well, we got all of our players readied up. We should be good to go for the firing range Search and Destroy right here as we get ready to hop into game number 2. Obviously, Meralto always going to be one of those players you keep an eye out for in the Search and Destroy. Standoff, typically his go-to map, but we know he can make it happen on really any of these. A lot of it's going to come down to whether or not he's going to be able to pick up those opening first bloods. And a lot of it is going to depend on his teammates following up on that and applying pressure in the right area. So we'll see if they can make it happen right here. Everybody loaded in, ready to go. Given that it's firing range, oh, do we see an S36 coming into play?
We do right now for Waze.
All right. I'm excited. So I actually was using the S36 this week and was pleasantly surprised by how strong it was, especially given the buff to the recoil pattern that it got in the recent balance changes. So I'm intrigued to see what he's able to do with it right here. Obviously, everybody playing really passive. We are going to have to keep an eye on the snipers to see who's able to find that first blood. Looking over on the side of Storm, Snakes just standing up in the top of wood, just waiting for something to happen. Yawn with a sniper in hand, looking for a pick. Bright sitting back. FaZe looking for the snipe as well. Kizzy trying to gather some info over by B, and the nade's going to force him back a little bit. And that's just going to allow the Primal roster to hold that map control for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm looking at Waze here with the S36 playing a normal angle for a sniper here, trying to get a peek over that wall. Mangoes might be in a...
Good lord. All right, day cut out right there, but I believe we had a massive feed go in for Waze, actually with the S36 right there. It's gonna be a 2v3 right here. FaZe and Snakes still alive. FaZe had the bomb in hand, but he's gonna drop, and it's gonna leave Snakes all by himself. One player getting ready to hop out of that doorway, but he's gonna get dropped. Now Shorty in hand finds one right there, looking to have himself a 1v3. Able to get the reload off as well, and looks like probably not a peek for Lucifer, at least not yet. Not a good angle to peek, especially going up against an AR, and a big closeout to the round. Avoids the 1v3, and that is going to give round 1 to Primal.
Destroy the objective.
Okay, and Day's Day's Discord is bugging a little bit. So, ooh, wow. Perfectly timed nade right there. That's going to force Snakes to back up a little bit, and the aggressive push over toward the B site for Storm's going to be forced to back up. You can see Mango's already holding over on that site, and I believe has some backup right there as well. Shorty in hand. That's not an angle that you want to push, and that's going to be an easy 2 kills for him. Yawn has no idea what's happening. They're getting picked apart right now. Storm, only 2 players remain. I don't know what they're doing. They're in the worst angles possible. Every point they turn, Snick's finally going to be able to find a trade. Shorty in hand, but he's going to need to force a 1v3 to make this happen. Finds the first one, though, and that's a huge starter for him. MX9 now in hand. Doesn't have a whole lot of range to work with, and the bomb is down right there by the B site. He's working to play the surrounding area, see if he can find another pick right there. I believe that was a sniper looking down, but they're not able to connect on the shot. That's going to allow him to be able to pick up the bomb right here. Day, are we back?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I got stuck on RTC connecting in Discord, and it wouldn't let me leave. It wouldn't let me join, but it seems to be working fine now. And big round coming out through first for the side of Primal, and here we are in round 2. They've got themselves a 2-1 advantage. Now, I got to say, Snicks, he's another one of those OP34 players that was really on the grind looking for a Mobile Mayhem spot a couple seasons back, and he was one of the more impressive players from that lineup. So definitely still stands a chance to clutch this up, especially if Primal don't play their 2s well here. I've been really hard on a lot of teams for Search and Destroy ever since we really saw the China champs, and the twos in North America, the search and destroy overall, seems to be a little bit on the weak side. So definitely looking for some of these teams to step it up. Those 1-for-1 trades when you're in a 3v1 or you're in a 2v1 come out in your favor to lock the round down. So it's worth losing your life for the round win. And I think people sometimes play a little too much for their personal KD.
Yep, those were two very, very long rounds, but it comes out strong for Snicks over on Storm, for Mangoes over on Primal, but obviously Primal overall definitely having the stronger start. If you look at the KDs, like, very little gap, maybe a 2-kill gap overall, but just able to close out those rounds in those sticky situations. And that's what you got to make happen, especially at this level of Mobile Mayhem. You see Snicks still patrolling that top area. Meralto not able to find a shot yet. Seems very much to be enjoying this new DLQ skin that we just got in the game. So we'll see if he can find a pick, but Yawn hits the jump shot right there, and that's going to be a huge one to open up the push. Lucifer, the only person waiting on the backside of A. They don't seem to know, but he's going to peek the corner perfectly. Finds that first blood. He's going to be able to find two. That is absolutely massive. Bright's going to finally be able to trade him out, but it is going to be this Primal team still coming away with man advantage. FaZe and Bright still alive. Sniper in the hand of FaZe, trying to close things out right here. They got a combined 3 kills so far. They're going to need 3 more to make something happen right here. And the backside of A, pretty wide open. Mango's trying to decide if he wants to make the push outside of Wood right now, but pretty content to sit back, try to get that information, and FaZe's going to find ways right there. Not able to find the trade. He swaps. FaZe able to switch to the Shorty and get the double kill right there. And just like that, all the pressure now on for Beef Shorty.
Yeah, actually, you know, we were talking a little bit about FaZe earlier being a formal teammate of Primal, and actually, you know, that brings me back to last season, that so is Bright. So definitely a really interesting matchup that I didn't even connect the dots on, but Beef Shorty, the new pickup, an incredible sniper talent for this team, definitely has an opportunity to clutch this up. We do see Storm playing their angles right now.
Yeah, Bright's
Could
on the
be
inside.
a big one for Bright if he gets the spot here.
He's got the side cubby right now. Beef Shorty obviously has a hunch he's going to be inside there, crouch walking his way up. Doesn't have a whole lot of time to work with, and honestly, even if he'd found the kill right there, not sure it would have been enough time for him to find the second. So that is going to be the first round going on in for Storm, but each and every one of these rounds, I think it's been like 2.5 minutes per round at this point. Really going down to the wire even after the plants, and both of these teams really going at it, just doing everything they can with the time that they've been given. So you can see Storm putting a little bit more pressure over on the A site, using the Holger to get some information. Pre-fire. That's going to at least allow them to get sights onto American right there. They're able to get that pressure, but Snicks is actually going to get picked. But Beef Shorty, 2 kills right there, immediately evens things up. Beef Shorty traded out as well, and just like that, we're in a 3v4.
Yeah, 3v4 in favor of the side of Primal once again. Beef Shorty gonna get taken down, but fortunately the team able to come through with the trade onto Kizzy and Snicks. And again, Snicks has been one of those players that has absolutely been a factor for Storm. So definitely a good trade there. Meralto currently sitting down at 0-3. Definitely one of the players that we were expecting and hoping to see have a good performance here. Sitting a little bit down right now, so hopefully he'll be able to pick up some kills. Obviously, we know him as a pretty flashy sniper from Standoff, but the team needs to know him as that rock, as that carry right now. So we'll have to see, but fortunately for him, Mango's showing out in a big way. 5-3 on the board for him.
It looks like it's about to go down over here at the B site. Right now, it's Mango's pretty much by himself, at least inside the cubby, and it looks like Yawn's going to make the push on in. Not able to get the kill right there. Mango's hits the pre-fire, trying to play his life as much as possible, but Yawn plays it perfectly. Now Meralto and Lucifer are going to be all by themselves. Bright's going to be able to regen, but Yawn gets picked in the process. Big shot going in for Lucifer right there, getting ready to peak tires. Bad timing going in for him. No, it turns out to be good timing. Unfortunately, FaZe is on the backside, Shorty in hand. Meralto hits one snipe, doesn't quite have the accuracy to hit the follow-up. He sees the foot, but doesn't hit the follow-up shot, and it's probably going to be battle of the Shorties on the inside of cubby right here. Pulls it out, tries to find an angle. He doesn't even push in. Very, very aggressive push to the outside of the B site right here. Still trying to find the angle. Bright doesn't know where to look right now. Both players hoping their dead silence is right, but Bright has the read right there. Drops Meralto. 2 rounds in a row going in for Storm.
Yeah, Storm coming through, bouncing back, tying things up. It's not an absolute win for them. You know, it's definitely could go either way, but the team that does pick up a advantage going into the second half might be able to swing some of that momentum a little bit more into their favor. We are in the last round of the Storm offense. And as you can see, they're playing a little bit slow, looking for a pick, and this is definitely a smart play against some teams, but up against the likes of Beef Shorty and Meralto, sometimes it can be disastrous as well, especially if you have a player who rotates into the sights of Beef Shorty, because let me tell you, this girl does not miss, and typically speaking, Meralto doesn't either, but a couple players have definitely found the better of him so far in this matchup. So far, no first blood in this round, but Kizzy leaning pretty hard on the B side. I wonder if they're going to start making that rotation over and look for a play there.
I mean, Mangoes has just been skulker strafing for the last minute right here over on the inside of B, and nobody making a peek one direction or another. Storm playing this incredibly passive right now. Yawn still trying to find an angle over on the site, and there's not really anybody defending over on A. I'm surprised they haven't applied more pressure right here. They've still got some utility to work with as well. Meralto trying to find a pick backside of that trailer area. He has the read. Somehow that snipe doesn't land. It looked like it was perfectly lined up, but that's going to allow one player to push on up to the site, and now Prime will find themselves on their heels once again. It seems like it's happened 2 rounds in a row and now make it 3. He's looking for the name lineup. You can actually see names through the bottom, but he hits the cross right there. That's going to be a huge opener. They have lost ways, and that's going to make it tougher for them to defend. And Meralto really trusting his teammates right now as he just sits on the inside of that window from trailer. Kizzy not peeking anything. Yawn not peeking anything. The pressure's still on for this Primal team, and they're just not really getting the pressure they need. Yawn's going to find Beef Shorty right there. Kizzy's going to be able to get one, not able to get the trade, but now Lucifer all by himself. Yawn hits the final shot in the last 3 rounds on the offensive side, going in for Storm.
Yeah, Storm take the lead and have a big opportunity, especially on a firing range defense where they could snowball through the rest of this game. They're going to take a little bit of that momentum and might even be able to find a first pick here. Meralto playing a dangerously aggressive sniper position here in mid. Gonna miss the shot there, but finds the follow-up onto Kizzy. Mangoes gonna take down FaZe. Definitely a big one and a 2-player swing for the side of Primal. However, Yawn gonna get the pick up onto Beef Shorty. Gonna make it a 1 versus 2, or 2 versus 2. And now it's Meralto and Mangoes. They do have the bomb planted, so it's going to be a fight against the clock for the side of Storm, but Primal just not playing their 2s really well right now. Meralto has a big opportunity to defend this angle because of the sniper here, but he does have to be careful. There's 2 players. One person can go for the defuse, the other can go for the snipe. He doesn't see the player defusing and is going to get taken down by the slide from Yawn. Shorty in hand. What was looking so good for Primal falls apart massively, and Storm starting to extend that lead.
It looked like, honestly, Meralto might have gotten tunnel vision by the diffusion. Obviously, you do have to focus on the diffuser, but there's a guy right in front of him that he was just kind of pretending he was there. Even if he gets the shot on the diffuser, he's obviously going to get dropped by that shorty shot. And like he said, strong start for Primal, falling apart pretty quickly, and it really looked good on that aggressive push. We haven't seen that a whole lot, but Meralto just completely full bodies peaks as he hears the shots from Wazy flying past from top 10. Doesn't really move at all, lets him line up the shots relatively easily, and this time it's going to be Storm with a strong opening, and FaZe trying to hit the shot onto Beef Shorty. That's really who they've got to lean on right now to try to find that pick. It looked like he had it lined up, but probably hitting the bomb right there, and FaZe slides through. Another huge shot for him. He's got 7 kills on the board, 8 for Snicks and Yawn as well. And this Storm team looking really strong in the middle half of this game.
Oh, absolutely. And Storm, this is a team that's been upcoming that we are already impressed by through some of their challenger performance. Yawn specifically was one of the originals on this roster for this season that really impressed me. We've seen him in the past, but we have not seen him like we have so far on this Storm lineup. And again, FaZe was one of the top players from Primal, I believe, or well, not I believe, I would say. And the switch over here to Storm making them look like a pretty deadly competitor. Couple trades do come through. FaZe and Waze both picking up 1 and the 2s, and it's going to leave them into a 1 versus 1. The bomb is planted. Waze looking to make that push onto FaZe. He's going to find it. MX9 coming through strong and closing the gap a little bit. Now it's a 3 versus 4, still doable for the side of Primal. They need to find 3 wins. For some reason, 7 was in my mind, but that's wrong. It is no longer the Trovo Showdown.
Ooh. Man, FaZe hitting a big first blood once again, and especially in that second half of this game, he has really shown up for the Storm roster. 9-6 right now, leading the way for all players, and just looking absolutely phenomenal. Like you mentioned, one of the candidates for Rookie of the Split, and definitely making the case for himself right here. Meralto still struggling to find those picks, just not really having the consistency that we would like to see out of him. Only 4 kills so far, and he's one of the players they got to bank on to find those first bloods, especially with Beef Shorty dropping off the start. He's got to be able to find something right here, but Storm content to play things passive, and now FaZe's made his way on up to that American spot. Not going to be able to hit through the smoke. Tries to hit the follow-up there as well, but it won't land, and with Kizzy getting dropped, that's a big opening for this Primal roster, but they need to snowball it, and FaZe not going to let that happen anytime soon. Now 10 kills to his name. Meralto finally finds those big picks we said he needed to find. Getting pushed from wood by these multiple Storm players. Bright's going to be able to find him right there. Now a 2v2 as Storm looks for the retake. Snicks right in front of him, leading the way, and right now you can see both these Primal players on the inside of trailer. They got to play this smart. Play your life. Waze, never mind. Waze says, I'm just gonna peek inside by myself and find a 2-piece. Easy peasy. Massive round goes in for Primal.
Yeah, Primal desperately needed that one, and what was looking like momentum going in favor of Storm has quickly been stopped, as Primal are here to say that they are not a push-over team. Meralto, we were talking about him being, I think, down at 0-4 at one point. Dude's got 5 kills on the board. Definitely a big factor of how they were able to step this up as a team. And right now, they are once again playing a little bit of a slower offense, looking for some picks, and haven't been able to find anything to connect yet. Meralto, a very dangerous position here in mid-street. The COD timing of all COD timing flicks away as he was about to get a free kill onto Yawn, and instead, Yawn gonna pick up one on a Beef Shorty, giving Storm the advantage once again.
Well, I think Meralto actually saw the tack laser peeking out of the top. He said, I don't want to get peeker advantage right there, so I'm going to go ahead and back things up and see if I can find another one. But the passivity going to allow all 4 of his teammates to get picked. He does get 1 off the start right there, but obviously Kizzy pushing on in with an MX9, not going to be easy to contend with. And now we find Storm 1 round away from closing things out in a 2-0, which is definitely where they would like to be. Looking to pick up some additional points, as right now not as high in the standings as they would like to be. Only 10 points to their name. This would be a solid 20 to actually put them above Seminole. That is obviously assuming that Seminole does not get a win tonight, but really to even be close to them, given how highly they were spoken of coming into the season, not a bad spot to be at all. Beef Shorty gonna be able to find that opening first blood, exactly what Primal needed, and a big opportunity to tie things up at 5-5.
Yeah, definitely looking like a round 11 could be possible. I think I gotta say I'm cheering for Primal here. Meralto, obviously one of my favorite players to watch from seasons past. Hasn't really been able to find a lot of momentum with the team, but new team, new season, has a big opportunity to turn things around here, and right now the team's sitting up, looking to tie things up. Might be looking for that game 3, which is what I'm cheering for more than anything right now.
Yeah, 2 picks so far for Primal. Meralto trying to find another, but Bright flashing around the corner of Backwood, and time is dwindling right now. They got to make a push. They got to make it fast. Waze doesn't take the first shot. He actually ends up paying for it. And right now the collapse is happening. Beef Shorty just trying to stay alive. He's got to defend against the defuse, but there's two players outside of trailer. I don't know if he has what it takes. He tries to push out, but Bryce shuts him down. Yawn hops the bomb in time. Huge closeout to a desperate round right there for Storm. They're able to close things out in a 2-0, and that is a massive 20 points for them moving into the middle part of the season.
Yeah, definitely a solid handful of points that they needed, and they come through with it. Again, they're a team that fought tooth and nail through the Challenger Series. Their biggest competitor, however, was Devious, who did end up taking them down in the finals. And is going to be in our next matchup of the night, I believe. So another one of those teams that has a lot of potential that I'm glad you're going to get a chance to cast here, Bobby, because this season has been looking great. You know, it's unfortunately you've had to miss so much of it, but I understand you obviously had stuff going on. But definitely have some really nice talent in this lobby here. Bright, FaZe, Yawn, all three coming through with 11 kills on the board. Snicks, like I said, a pickup from Op 34, not too far behind at 9. And a very, very close game with hardly anybody putting up numbers like that on the side of Primal. Waze came through with 10, Mango's through with 8, and then 6 for the rest of the team. And it felt early on like a much more dominant matchup, but Primal just didn't want to let go.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very often you see 3 double-digit players in a search and destroy, so...
That was that close.
Yeah, exactly. Very consistent across the board. I forgot that I 1v1 FaZe and had to give him one of my calling cards. I was super surprised when I saw that on the exit straight. I was like, wait, how did that happen? And then I remembered. But yeah, definitely a big closeout right there for the Storm roster. And taking a look at the standings real quick, that's going to move them up to 30 points, only 5 points back of Devious, who definitely has a tough matchup tonight, but given the way the season's gone so far, definitely one they have the potential to win. Obviously, Seminole not quite lived up to the hype. They have had a lot of difficult matchups, but especially for them to be getting 2-0'd in some of those matchups, not really what we expect to see out of them. From what I've heard from some of the teams, they just don't practice quite as much as some of the other teams and really rely on pure gun skill, which at the end of the day is really just not going to make the cut, especially when you're going up against these teams that scrim 3 and 4 hours a night. When you're getting that much practice in, the amount of team chemistry that you build just stacks so much more than any amount of pure gun skill is able to do. So I am hopeful that they're able to have a stronger second half of the season. Definitely one of the teams that I would like to see in the playoffs, but right now this definitely looking like the most competitive season of Mobile Mayhem we've had in a really long time.
Yeah, I mean, this is a totally different world from our last season, right? Last season, it was like we had 4 teams we were watching, and at that time, I mean, even that 4th team slot was kind of like a stretch. It was like this team shows up one day and they don't another day. So this season, I mean, we've got like a solid 8 that on any given day, I think, you know, the bottom of that 8 could beat the top of that 8 if the cards were right. Definitely have a couple teams that have been struggling. With unfortunately Primal being one of them, so we'll have to see as things go on. And you know, we were kind of talking a little bit about ARP. They're going to be in a pretty important matchup tonight, and they unfortunately were unable to field a roster the first couple weeks of the competition. According to Jesus on Twitter, they had some personal team issues going on. Hopefully, that's all getting sorted out and fixed here soon, because they're a phenomenal team, and you know, they're obviously down in points a bit because of those forfeitures in the first couple weeks. And they've got a lot of ground to make up because the top 6 are going to be moving on to the qualifiers. And I think we're, halfway through the competition right now?
Yeah, should be pretty close to it, especially as we get to the end of October. And that's one of the crazy things. Like, you look, you know, only top 6 get a spot. And obviously it's not too surprising to see, like, Mayhem, Tribe, Zygnus up in there, but you've got 11D really showing out. They've been a team that's always been close to the top, but never super dominant. And then you have Status Quo, who is just kind of a accumulation of a bunch of players that weren't able to make it onto champs teams. So you got Arsenal, you've got well, obviously Solo was on a champs team, and actually his team is going to be playing in stage 5 because they completely changed the format for stage 5, and now Solo is going to be playing in stage 5, and I'm curious how that's going to play into the team chemistry for Status Quo, because obviously he's going to need to be practicing with his actual team that he's playing in stage 5 as well. So that could potentially change the way that we see these teams go up against each other in the future weeks as well, depending on the amount of time that this Status Quo team is able to put in together.
Yeah, definitely could be the case, and you know, big shout out to those teams that that do get a chance to make it in. You know, again, I think obviously Arsenal was one team that we really thought at the time would make it more than explicit, but then obviously all of the stage 3 stuff happened. And then, you know, we weren't really expecting the old explicit lineup to really have too much ground. And then just absolutely made me eat my words, come through and knock Tribe out of the competition in the losers bracket, and now they get that second shot at life. You know for a fact Solo has been grinding and grinding ever since he got that word that they were going to be able to compete. So definitely got some really exciting stuff ahead of us, as we are just waiting on one of our teams to get in the lobby, guys, and we'll get the action started for you as soon as we can.
Yep, definitely excited to see this one. Do we have an interview for today, or?
We do not.
Okay.
We have one for Thursday.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, obviously next matchup is going to be Seminole versus Devious. So, like we mentioned, I would say, and I don't know who Devious has played so far, so obviously that could play into the standing so far, but I would say Seminole has underperformed according to what people expected of them, and I would say Devious has overperformed. So we've already got Devious loaded in. It seems like they're on the ball with everything they... I don't know who any of the players on this team are. I see Violent Myers, Skylar Vox, Emily Willis,
no
Autumn Falls, and Nathan.
I have no idea who any of these people are.
Okay.
These are all name changes, and I don't know who's who, and I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Admins, if we could get just a little bit of information on that, that would help me significantly, because I have never seen any of these names before in my life.
Look, this is a roster with Zolf, G-String, I'm not Rehan, I'm not Beetle, Campers, and someone else. But obviously none of these names. And these guys the whole time have been changing their names. It was at first just Rehan and Beetle changing it every week. And then we actually asked G-String to change his. G-String formerly coding to something appropriate, and it was Vic last week. And now this week it is something different.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, it looks like our admins are matching UIDs so we can figure out who people are. I'm assuming that these are going to be their names throughout the rest of the season. Otherwise, I'm going to start DQing them because I don't know how to commentate their freaking team. We are still waiting for Seminole to get in here. I sincerely hope that we don't see a DQ out of them, because this is a team that came into this with a really big reputation for being able to knock off some of the big dogs. Seeing a lot of people saying Vague is the best player in North America right now. I'm not saying he's not, but this team has definitely... I think in order to earn the title #1 player in any region, your team has to have success along with that. So they're going to need
it's a team game, so.
Yeah, they're going to need to find some big wins in order to help him maintain that name. They've got a lot of raw talent on that team that we've seen succeed at different levels, but just haven't been able to find the consistency so far.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things for the likes of, you know, referencing this as a team game, right, is going to be, you know, I was in Aerith's stream one day. I was in Aerith's stream one day. This girl drops like 86 kills and the team loses. It was just absolutely nuts. So you can be called the best player in North America all you want, but if your team doesn't come through with a win when tournament day comes, that doesn't really get you very far. So definitely got to see them step up a little bit. They're a team with some fantastic talent. I'm a fan of all the players. I mean, I when I see them in VC, sometimes I jump in there, hang out. They're all pretty chill. They get a little bit rambunctious when they're together, to say the least.
That's the way kids are, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like next year they'll probably take it a little bit more seriously. They'll be at, most of them will at least be in that age group to actually compete for a ideally full-on stage 5 instead of the. Not saying anything bad about Worlds coming up, right? But it's really like stage 4.5, right? That's just a reality, and it is a little bit unfortunate, but it's better than not having it. And unfortunately, with COVID still flaring up in a lot of regions, this is just the best option that we have. So I'm still excited for it. I hope you're all excited for it, and hopefully bigger, better things for next year as well.
Yeah, obviously everybody's looking forward to a LAN tournament, but it seems like COD Mobile is doing everything they can to, at the very least, make it as competitive as possible. So even if it isn't going to be everybody in the same region, hopefully, or everybody in the same location, hopefully, at the very least, it's going to be everybody in the same city, and at least all the teams playing on the same ping or somewhat close to it, which I think at the end of the day is what most of these players care about most, is everybody being on an even playing field and really just having the best tournament possible. So I'm still looking forward to it for sure. 2 separate $1 million tournaments is definitely nothing to scoff at, but we'll go ahead and take a look at the maps and bans real quick, as we do have Seminole finally getting loaded in right here. We do have bans on the Annihilator and the Kinetic Armor, so probably a decent amount of Sparrows coming into play. Seminole banning Crossfire, Devious banning Takeoff. So it's going to be Standoff Hardpoint for game number 1, Firing Range S&D for game 2, and if we go to a game 3, Hackney Yard Domination, which can definitely get lopsided in a lot of situations. So not hoping for a 2-0, but also not my favorite map 3 that we're going to see. We got all of our players loaded in. We are good to go, hopping into match number 2.
I do got to say, I believe it was last night, we actually did see a I don't want to really call it an upset, but we did have a Hackney Yard mishap where the team that had the strong side actually did come through with the loss. So it's definitely possible. It is certainly favorable, a favorable map to have the strong side second half, but definitely doable. But it is going to be a big break here for the side of Seminole. Take down Devious. Look like, oh man, I don't even know who this is, man. Nahun? I don't know which one of the players that is, but comes through with a pretty big break, at least temporarily. Get 15 points on the board, racking up a couple more, but Forsaken coming through. Don't know why he's still playing under the name Chalice, but that is Forsaken, guys.
And a surprising amount of time going in, I mean, somewhat surprising amount of time going in for Devious, but at the same time, they've got more points coming into this and have definitely been more consistent across the board this season of Mobile Mayhem. So a big P1 for them. They got their early rotations for P2. See a decent amount of Tech 5s in play for them. Obviously some offense as well with a couple of Sparrows in play. One Death Machine here, but pretty even distribution of the score streaks, and that's going to give you a lot of utility in a lot of different situations. The early rotation into P2 right here looking good, and the kill feed pretty much all Devious right now. Emily Willis going to be able to slide into the side right there, and Hi, the only kill that I'm seeing in the feed right now for Seminole, they have not been able to find a single foothold throughout the entirety of this matchup.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of a big shock because a lot of people considered this team the real #1 team in North America for a long time. You know, there were people hyping up Seminole in chat like these guys would come in and absolutely smoke Tribe, and that just has not been the Seminole that we've seen. Now, that's not to down talk how good they are. They are great, but again, I think they're just more than anything having fun this season. I think when we get next year and they're all actually competing, they probably take it a bit more seriously then, and we probably see that #1 Seminole that you guys were expecting. But ooh, actually a really good nade from Autumn Falls there.
And you can hear the TAC 5s going into place. Just for those of you who are wondering, that does not stack, so you can only really use one of those one at a time. And I believe Childs is that's actually Forsaken, right?
Yep.
Okay, so he's gonna get dropped off right there. Death Machine spraying through the top side, and once again, it's Devious with the early rotation, just more disciplined in every way, shape, or form, and they have been, for the most part, untouched for the first 40 seconds of most of their hard points. Vague getting the push up, gets the contest for a second right there, trying to make the push on through, but Emily Willis there for the trade, and just like that, Devious all by themselves in the hard point, make it a two-piece. Got a Pred missile ready to go as well. Shorty gonna come out not in time, but right now it's just Seminole playing catch-up. They're getting the last, what, 13, 14 seconds of each hard point, but not much of a contest, not much early time for them either. They're late on the rotations every single time. Across the board, Devious just looking like the better team.
Yeah, definitely the case right now. Their rotations are solid. They're winning a lot of their gunfights. I mean, we're looking at Forsaken right now with 0 kills on the board. This dude is, at one point, a multi-season MVP. For a while was all the way up until the hardpoint changes, where some of the hardpoints were a bit more gunfights, specifically looking at Raid. This guy held the kill record for Mobile Mayhem. So definitely a bit weird to see him underperforming the way he has. Does come through with 2 assists there, but I mean, again, this is not the Seminole we expected to see in this matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be a massive flank for Autumn Falls, able to get the pick onto him, and even when they get broken early in the hardpoint, still able to get the retake as well. Vague finds a big kill right there. The MX-9 been huge for him. Skylar Vox going to be able to get the trade, and pretty late in the clock right here, we find Seminole playing for the point once again. Big opportunity for them. Vague throwing down that Goliath right there, and if I had to guess, probably going to be giving that to Forsaken, as he's not been able to find a whole lot of success, and that's going to be exactly what it is right here. He's looking to make that push on into the hard point, and he has found 1 kill. Make it 2 kills. That's definitely a start for him, but they have to prevent this Devious team from getting 17 more seconds, and especially with them in need of 80 right here, that's not going to be easy to do. Obviously, the Goliath going to be good for the existing hard point, but once that's out of the play, going to be a whole lot more difficult for them to hold that hard point, but they're doing a pretty good job of protecting it so far.
Yeah, big Goliath for Forsaken here on the point. This is a great opportunity for them to bring it back a little bit. There's not enough time on the board for them to win, but it at least secures the fact that Devious can't win on this point. And now you can see the Goliath. It's not very healthy, but he is starting to make that rotation over. Gonna pick up a couple kills. That's gonna drive it Devious back a little bit and allow Seminole to get set up for this P2. And you can see they're already over here starting to anchor spawns. Hi able to come through with a big double before he drops, but with Nahan and Skylar Vox pushing on through to the gas station here, but they get taken down. That was looking for a big anchor on gas, but instead they're gonna get that respawn on hay bale side, and that's just not quite as good of a spawn to have. Definitely advantage having the low ground, the ease of access to get into the point. And this game has been brought back. I mean, we're 10 points between these 2 teams right now.
Oh my gosh, this is looking dicey right here. Skylar Vox calls in the TAC 5 right there. That could potentially be enough for them to close it out. They only need 10 more seconds. It looks like on the bottom side, getting all the kills that they need. And this Seminole team was so close to making a comeback happen. Right now, Hi needs to find something, but it's not going to happen. They came all the way back. They were down, what? Probably 70, 80, maybe 90 points right there. Just not quite enough, as somehow the operators finally stacked to the right point for this Devious team. They come away with game 1, and definitely not in an easy way. You can see, obviously, Childs or not Shelds, Forsaken, really struggling right there. 6-17, and that's with a Goliath in play. He does get a minute 18 on the hill, but they definitely got to see more out of him if they're going to be able to make it happen. Vague and high going positive, but just across the board, better teamwork, better rotations, better consistency for Devious, and they take the first map.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And this is, again, one of those upcoming teams that I think has a lot of potential that I actually wish would take a lot more seriously. Obviously, if you're a player that has the skill to go pro, it's not just your team performance that you do have to consider. It is, you're building a character, you're building an image. And when you change your name and make it difficult for us to give you credit, you're in the long term not doing yourself any favors. You know, there's a lot of talk with some of the top like big T1 orgs that are looking at COD Mobile. Like, I know 100 Thieves is looking. I know there's plenty of other teams that are looking at the COD Mobile scene as a whole. If they come into Mobile Mayhem and they're scouting teams, what do you expect here? I mean, this is not the ideal way to get picked up, you know, again. So I'm hoping teams like Devious and Seminole do start to take things a little bit more seriously in that aspect, because they have a lot of talent, and I hope to see success for them in the future. But either way, a big win come through for Devious here, 150 to 124.
Yep. Huge opening game for them. We are getting ready to hop into the search and destroy. Taking a look at our maps and bans real quick. It is going to be firing range once again. So a little bit of a repeat right there. I mean, we know there's a lot of raw gun skill over on this Seminole team, and potentially that could come through and shine a little bit more, as it's going to be less dependent on strategy and teamwork. Obviously, strategy and teamwork's important in any game mode, but you can't have one player really pop off and just find some huge picks in the search and destroy. That could be a big opportunity for them. And we know that they've got some sniping power. I believe we've seen Forsaken sniping before, Vague sniping before. Not really any one player on the roster that we look at as the one go-to sniper that's always making the big plays for them. We've seen Rihan do that in recent seasons, and we actually do see Jez hopping in for Seminole, so that's going to be huge for them.
Thank goodness we have some name changes too.
Please.
A couple at least.
Yep. Hopefully name changes for everybody, and we can actually recognize.
Oh shoot!
Oh, we get
Has
Zolf.
my camera been off ever since I disconnected?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say nothing?
I assumed that you knew, and there was some technical issue happening.
No, I just hadn't been paying attention. I opened up the Discord to look. I'm like, huh, my camera's not there.
All right. Well, we got our players loaded in. I feel like the pickup of Jez will be definitely solid for Seminole as they look to push this to a game 3, and they desperately need to do so, because that, if you look at the standings right now, they are way back, in Storm just now passing them. The two newest teams in Mobile Mayhem, Devious and Storm, both passing Seminole. In order for Seminole to at least be tied for 6th place, they need to win these last 2 games. So this is absolute must-win territory for them, especially as we're, I believe, over halfway into the season.
Yeah, I think this is week 4, I think. Let me double check. I've got it open over here. Yeah, we are on day 1 of week 4, so we are over halfway through. We'll have Thursday's matches. We'll have week 5 and week 6, and the week after that is finals week. So definitely going to be really a lot of these teams looking to pick up some points here in the late. And you know, again, ARP versus 11T tonight is a big one for ARP. 11T, they're in a great spot. Those guys have been doing great, but ARP, they missed a couple games in the first week. A couple that I think they probably had a real chance to win in the first place. So they're definitely sitting down, but they're not out. It's going to be the top 6 teams going for the gold. So.
All right. Well, I believe we were in the process of getting all of the players' usernames changed. so that we can actually recognize. We have Zolf and Zolf 2, so I have no idea who Zolf 2 is right now. Obviously Rihan, one of the players that we're going to be able to recognize, but should be a good matchup. I'm excited to see these two teams go at it. Looks like everybody is ready to go. And the two that are on streamer mode are Beetle and Ning. Good to know.
All right, let's see. So, definitely a big week for Seminole. You know, this is a matchup I expected them to come in and win. So hopefully they'll be able to come through and pull together a you know, good search and destroy here and at least push us to a game 3. So we'll see what's going on there. What's going on, Mangoes and Band in chat? How's it going, guys? Image the sausage man. But we're in the action, guys. We've got Seminole versus Devious spawning into our search and destroy on firing range. And we at least have a couple name changes coming through, making it more recognizable on at least 2 of the players. Technically 3, I guess, since Beetle is the one on streamer mode, I believe. So we'll at least have a little bit of an idea there. High peeking the long angle here. Does have a MX-9 in hand, though, so not an ideal A-side weapon. Might actually be AFK for a second now that I look at it, but definitely a really big opportunity and a need win for Seminole here. Vague gonna push on up into trailer, picks up one onto Zulf. Now peeking out, you gotta be on the watch out, but Zulf, even on the head glitch at the corner there, gonna get taken down. Rihan finds a refrag, however, onto Rabalo, and now Slothy drops down, finds Beetle in a bit of a tussle of a gunfight here. Beetle's gonna come through with the win. That's gonna bring things to a 3 versus 3. The bomb plant does go down for the side of Seminole. Now they need to get their angles covered here. High finds one onto Beetle before getting dropped. Now a 2v2. Rihan gonna find Jez. Vague left alone in a 1 versus 2. Definitely an opportunity where he could clutch this up. He's gonna find one onto Rihan, but this is a deadly head glitch to challenge. And he's gonna fall. First round, gonna go to Devious.
Huge pick at the end for Ning right there. And man, this Devious team looking really solid. Not just like a team that maybe some of the bottom teams got to look out for, but even off the start here in the search and destroy, going up against the Seminole team with a lot of talent. Vague finds 1 kill, but right now Devious looking like the more consistent team. The teamwork just better for the most part. They're in the better spots. And right now, the Seminole team really banking on those opening picks. Jez hasn't been able to find a kill yet, but Rabalo going to be able to slide trailer right there. Finds one. Jez finds the player pushing to the outside, and that's the start that they needed. Smoke's going across. Should allow the plant right here. Jez has bomb in hand, and this is exactly what Seminole wants to see happen. Kane goes over top. No trophy. Somehow, not even a hit marker onto Jez right there, and he's going to be able to hold this really awkward angle onto American right there. Vague's going to find one onto Beetle as well. Rihan needs to make something crazy happen as Ning going to get picked right there. Not going to be able to find the shot over top of the bomb heady, and he's going to get dropped by Rabalo. And a big bounce back round for Seminole as they go 5-0 there in round 2.
Defend the objectives. They have the bomb.
We may have lost Dig. Tough to say at this point.
I was coughing, so I muted. But,
all good.
Yep, we do have Vague slaying out for Seminole. 5 kills on the board for him at the end of round 2. The next closest in the lobby is a 3-way tie for 2. So definitely being a big factor for Seminole here. And they need him to step up because, you know, again, the calls and claims are that he's the best or at least one of the best players in North America. And Seminole need him to come through with a performance like that right now because this search and destroy is a must-have for them. If they go down 0-2 against Devious, that's not going to be looking good for them in the points train in such a competitive season.
Yeah, 2 trades coming off the bat. Zolf going to be able to find 2 right there, and Hi able to trade him out. Slothy takes a little bit of damage, but now down to a 3v3. And looking at the map right now, you can see this Seminole team, pretty solid control over toward the A site. Bomb in the hands of Jez. They should be able to get the plant right here. Is right now pretty much everybody for DV is playing over toward the B site, and it is going to go down right there. The retake is on. Slothy playing backside of wood, trying to find the off man, trying to find a pick. Rihan seeing if maybe he can hit a snipe on through, and Slothy going to be forced out of position right there. Notice that there's one making the rotation up toward bathrooms as well. Might be able to find the flank, gets those initial shots in, not able to get the kill shot though. That would have been absolutely massive. Regardless, time's dwindling, but 2 picks go in. Now Jez is all by himself. There's going to be a 3-man push, and it's about to happen really, really fast, and it's not looking good. Rihan flies out a trailer right there. He's going to be able to find the pick. The fuse is going to be easy for Devious, and they retake the lead right there as the retake was looking dangerous, but the strong push to the end closes it out.
Yeah, Devious are here to play ball, and obviously already being up 1-0 over Seminole in the series is not an easy feat in the slightest. So coming through with a round 2 win there does give them a little bit of an opportunity. They are on the defense on firing range, so definitely could expect them to have a bit of a good performance here, especially if Seminole doesn't take them seriously.
Grenade.
Could see the upset come through. Mahan 3-1 on the board. Rihan able to bounce himself up to 5 kills with that clutch coming through last round. And another pick, man. My goodness.
I was curious if that was like an actual lineup or if he was just kind of chucking the nade over there and then count down from 6 and it actually connects. That's a huge opener, especially taking out Slothy for this Seminole team. Hasn't really been able to find anything so far here in the search and destroy. Finds himself down at 0-3. Not where he would like to be, and definitely not where Seminole would like to be either, as they now have 1 man down. They're down around as well. Zolf too, just pretty content to play the angle that he's got on the inside of the trailer, but Hi pushes him. He finds 2. Zolf, you've got to find that trade, the easiest opportunity, and can't make it happen right there. That is going to be massive for Seminole. Vague drops another right there, and with the main sniper out of the equation, it's now all on to Ning. He's got an M13 in hand. Not a bad range gun, but just kind of lacks a prime range right now against some of these meta guns, and Hi pulls out the MX9, shuts things down at the end, and he was the one that made that big play on the inside of trailer to really open up that opportunity.
You might have a little bit more information on this than me, but I'm gonna be honest. The M13 specifically with that fine new skin that's out feels a little bit like a skin advantage, right? It feels almost like one of those pay-to-win skins.
It's a built-in red dot. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the built-in red dot. I mean, the recoil just seems way more controllable. I mean, the gun is just so different with that skin on it. So definitely a big factor, but right now we're looking at a tie game between these 2 teams. One of these teams is going to get an advantage going into the second half, but it'll be small. It's not like a 4-1 advantage where the enemy is pressed against not being able to afford to make mistakes, but could be a decisive one at that. Hi looking to push up, going to find Beetle lacking, but Nayun still there for the refrag. Jez gonna find one on to Zolf. Doesn't look like the refrag gonna come through this time. The 2-for-1 trade in favor of Seminole. As you can see, they start to make that A-side rotation. We do have Zolf 2 looking for the information to give to his team. Does look like he's gonna get a little bit of that rolling for himself. You can start to see Nayun pushing up through jungle. Might make a rotation from behind Slothy here. That would be an ideal pick if they're able to grab it. Pulls out the shorty to challenge Wood here. Peeks the angle. Ooh, that feels bad, man.
Rihan nearly had the angle over top of the bomb head glitch, but wasn't able to make it happen. The flick onto Vague. That's going to be huge, but he's in a 1v3 now. doesn't have a whole lot to work with. Gotta hit the shot over top of the head. He hits it. Jez drops. Raballo peeks outside a trailer. Shorty's in hand. This is winnable for him, but he doesn't play the angles right. Raballo wins the gunfight right there. Seminole now taking the lead for the first time in the matchup. And things starting to look a little bit dicey for this Devious team, especially with pretty much the entirety of the game being on the backs of Ning and Rihan. You got 7 and 4, 4 and 3. You got Zolf 2, hasn't even picked up a kill yet. Beetle 1 and 4, Zolf 2 and 5. Those other 3 players really got to pick things up, especially with the amount of talent that you're going to see over on this Seminole team. It's really got to be a team effort, and right now, their first time on offense. No surprise to see a very defensive offensive strategy.
Yeah, definitely could be the case. Like we said, the team that comes through with the win in that last round definitely has an opportunity to have a little bit of an advantage, but nothing too crazy as we move in. Obviously, neither one of these teams wants to make a mistake, but they at least have that little bit of a cushion should it happen. And there's a big factor for Seminole having won that last round. Jez gets taken down. Hi, however, does pick up the refrag. They almost find an additional as well, but Nayan barely able to make it out alive. And this is a actually really great play coming out of the side of Devious. They have 2 spotted and confirmed jungle side. They start pushing up, but I don't like that aggressive push coming from the bomb carrier into the trailer. He dropped that trailer and bomb. Or that, you dropped that bomb in the trailer, and the enemy has that locked down. It's going to be a hard one to break, but fortunately nobody's there. They go ahead, they get the bomb pickup. Nayan, once again, just on a sliver of health, going to come through and survive that gunfight. Raballo gets a refrag onto Zolf. It's now 2 versus 2, 25 seconds on the clock. Raballo and Slothy both looking for the challenge. The 2's coming through strong. They find the second, and that's going to be another round for Seminole.
I just don't like that ego chow out of Ning. He knew he had 2 players shooting at him at the same time. Takes the gunfight anyway, and he pays for it big time. Could have played time a little bit just for his teammate to get there for the backup, but they're going to drop another round, and now things seeming to fall apart pretty quickly is... Like we mentioned earlier, this matchup has pretty much been completely on the back of Rihan, the way he's performed. Big shots out of Slothy on players pushing into trailer. That's going to be a massive trailer push right here, and they're just absolutely full sending it right now. You see Beetle getting that American control, and he's pretty much going to play stairs right here. They get the bomb down, and no players picked so far, and especially with Rihan getting Raballo right there. That's a great sign. They push on into trailer. Vague's going to drop as well, looking to turn things around. I don't know what Slothy's doing. Full body, wide open, not moving in the middle of no man's land. And now it's going to be Jez all by himself. Ning able to get the pick. Big round going in for Devious.
Yeah, Devious desperately needed that one. They come through, soften the blow in a very, very fast round. Now they have another opportunity. Looks like we might be looking for that early A-side push. We've got a couple players pushing up. The only one really trailing behind is Rihan, who's sitting in wood. Push does come through. Zolf gonna find first blood onto Raballo, and the very fast plant is gonna come through. Jez looking for some snipes, can't quite find any to connect, and now it's once again Seminole in a position where they're fighting against time. Trophy systems coming in big here. Vague might be looking to cook something up here, pushes on up. Get ready to toss that nade, but it does look like we have player Nayan just leaving that staircase, which is a normal nade spot, so nothing going to come through out of that.
Yeah.
15 seconds on the clock.
I think Seminoles waited too long. Vague. It looked like he was trying to cook a concussion. You can't cook a concussion. That's not how that one works. So I'm not really sure what he was going for right there, and just kind of sat there. Maybe he was waiting for comms from his teammate or something else, but obviously didn't connect. And the retake falling apart pretty quickly. Once again, the aggressive push is really paying off right here for Devious, as they played passive on the first one. Didn't go well. They reevaluate, find something that works for them, and definitely a big opportunity for them. And as I say that, they decide, hey, we're going to go ahead and sit and spawn for the first minute of this round, and we'll see how it goes. Didn't go well any other time that we tried it, but you know what? Why not? So we'll see if they can find the picks right here. And obviously, most of these players playing inside a trailer, really banking on Rehan to find a pick, but he's sitting on the inside of bathroom. So not really sure what the game plan is for them right now. And obviously, the wall bang's not really landing. 40 seconds already ticked off the clock. They gotta find something to push at some point. Is no first bloods going in so far.
Frag out.
A very passive round between these two teams. Devious were able to tie things up and don't want to give that away so easily to Seminole. The winner of this round gonna be on match point. And again, guys, Devious came through and were able to pick up the hard point in pretty convincing fashion. So we'll have to see. But 45 seconds on the clock. You can see the push starting to come through from the side of Devious. Rehan finds one, but Jez there for the refrag onto Zulf. The 1-for-1 trade comes through. And with 35 seconds on the board, the bomb plant is going to come through, forcing Seminole once again to play against the clock. They waited a little too long last time. Rehan does get pushed by Vague. Zulf, too, going to find a refrag onto Ravallo. It's now a 3 versus 3. Beetle gonna take down Jez, though. Not looking good for the side of Seminole. Vague picks up one. I was gonna say Vague has no right to win this gunfight. Almost able to get out, but Beetle in the background picks up the last kill. And now Devious 1 round away from possibly finding a 2-0 victory over Seminole.
That suppressive fire from the Holger, just so much utility, and Seminole not able to find a way around it. And now, despite being up 2 rounds, they drop 3 in a row, and you have a Devious team that finds themselves in a position to win 2-0 right here against a team that, like we said, was expected to be one of the top 3 teams in Mobile Mayhem this season. We do see Zulf getting picked off the start. That's going to be huge for this Seminole roster. Exactly what they're looking for, especially given how much success we've seen out of Devious on those aggressive pushes. That's going to force them to play a little bit more passively. We've got Hi right over in the corner, and right now Beetle trying to find a pick over onto the B site. Seems like he might have an inkling as to where he might be. Pushing all the way up. Oh, he has no idea. He's going to get picked right there. He's alive? No. Nobody's done anything. I'm so confused right now. Somehow they let him get all the way up there, and you see Hi getting picked right there. He's able to find one, but not able to make it 2. And now it's a bomb hit, or it's a head glitch to work for Beetle. He finds one, trying to find another. Raballo able to land a couple shots right there, and he can pretty much sit back and wait for his teammates to get pushed up and help him. Rehan's gonna get picked, however, and now it's a 1v3, and Raballo spots him. Absolute beams out of the MX-9, and ladies and gentlemen, we've got a round 11 on our hands.
Yeah, definitely a must-have round for Seminole. They're now tied up. Round 11, the decider is right now, guys. Is Devious going to pick up the 2-0 victory, or is Seminole going to find a way to push us to a game 3? You can see Seminole, they're kind of all caught up in wood right now, not really sure which direction they want to head. Probably looking for Jez to maybe get a pick and then decide what to do from there, but they definitely can't wait around forever on the offense. It's them against the clock right now, and nobody really can convince that they want to make a move. We do have Vague up top of wood, but MX-9, not really a gun to challenge at a range, so don't think much is going to come of that. Maybe a couple bullet tags, but probably not realistically any kills, and I don't know, Seminole are just...
Oh, they're lining up the push. The smokes go out. They're full sending into trailer. There's one player there to defend. I think it's Zulf. He's going to... Zulf 2 finds 2. 2-for-2 trade. A minute off the clock right now. Slothy, Jez, Raballo, all still alive. Slothy's going to be able to find one onto Beetle as well. Now it's Ning and Rehan trying to clutch up, but the bomb goes down. Not an easy retake for these two players. They've got a Holger and a sniper to work with. It's really all on Rehan to find one of these picks. If he can do that, opens things up massively. But 2 players inside of trailer, 1 inside bathrooms. Not easy angles to work with. It looked like he might have seen Raballo crossing through the inside of trailer right there. Jez gonna be able to spot one really weird spot for the bomb to be down. Big shot for Rehan. Slothy's gonna find Ning right there. He's gonna stick the defuse. I don't think that's the move right there. He didn't have a ton of time, but regardless, it's not gonna happen, and Seminole finds a way to survive. That aggressive push, the smoke placement, the full send to the inside of trailer paid off big time, and they come through with a massive win to push us to a game 3.
Yeah, Seminole find a way to pull it together, and definitely a great game between those two teams. It's not often we see those round 11 search and destroys, but they come through and clean it up. Raballo, a player that we've seen do great in the past. Back in the pad day, you know, he was one of my favorite players to watch. Definitely struggled a bit with the transition to phone, but has done better and better every season. Comes through with a great game there. It was vague out of the gate with all the kills, and they both end up with 12 on the board, as well as Hi coming through with an 8. Rehan comes through with a big 12 as well, but as you can see, it falls off pretty hard, and nobody else close to double digits on the team. 7 for Zulf, 7 for Nayan, 6 for whom I believe is Beetle, and Zulf 2 coming through with 5. So a little bit more slaying power in the end for the side of Seminole, as well as they played that last round so well. Bobby, you called it out, that smoke and the hard push. Was a couple pickups early, but Raballo was able to bounce back and pick up the 2, even things out. They get the bomb plant, and they played their angles well at the end.
Yep, definitely a must-have round for them, and that leads us into the domination. I believe only 1 substitution allowed per match, so I believe Jez will be staying in for this one as we get ready to hop into the domination Hackney Yard. And obviously, this is one of those maps where you have a very distinct advantage to the team that has strong side in the second half. A lot of it going to come down to teams pushing for that A flip whenever they get an opportunity to do it, and most of the time, that push is going to come pretty early in the half. We actually saw a very weird scenario of it with the Japanese teams where basically they refused to cap C. They would only push for A, and they wouldn't take no for an answer, even if no was given to them 15,000 times. So definitely don't expect to see that, but domination on the Hackney Yard always makes for an interesting one to see how these teams push for the flip and to see if either of them are able to capitalize on that early push from the weak side. That's typically what these teams are going to be looking for to get the win.
Yeah, definitely going to be a big game between these two teams. This is one of the ones I actually did not expect to go to a game 3, and I certainly didn't expect it to be Devious coming through with the first round and then pushing us all the way around 11 in search and destroy. So we'll have to see. It does look like we're just waiting on a couple players to get readied up, guys, and we'll get you into the action. We've got a domination on Hackney Yard. It does tend to be a little bit of a one-sided map. Whoever has, C side in the first half typically has an advantage going into the second. I believe that's going to be Devious, if I remember this map correctly, with that side spawn. The favorable side, so we'll see.
All right. Well, we got all of our Devious players readied up, just waiting on Seminole. We should be good to go. I don't really know what to expect coming into this. I mean, obviously we know Seminole's got a lot of gun skill, but just haven't seemed to be super disciplined, and especially with the way that can play out in a game of Hackney Yard. If they're on strong side in the first half, that's automatically a disadvantage, especially if they don't play this carefully and allow Devious to get the early flip for A. Could immediately put them in a massive hole off the start. So in domination, you can allow your gun skill to carry you a little bit more, maybe play for some streaks and allow those to carry you through. If they can get some Goliaths, maybe some big score streaks called in, potentially an opportunity. And we saw that the Goliath call in nearly saved the game for them in the standoff hard point, but just wasn't quite enough to carry it all the way through. So we'll see what these guys are bringing to the table, but they're definitely going to need to bring their A game going up against a Devious team playing as strong as they are right now.
Yeah, definitely going to be the case. Does look like Yep, as I mentioned, it is going to be the blue side getting the C side spawn for this. That gives them that advantageous second half flip. So as we do wait for one player to load in, there it is. We've got the 5s spawned in. Seminole, they're on the A side to start. We definitely need to see them taking advantage in the first half, spread that gap as far as they can, and then looking into the second half, you know, we're going to have to look and see who's going to make that push towards the A side flip if possible.
Enemy taking
But as I
Alpha.
say that, we actually have a team dipping out, so we're going to get the match restarted for you guys
Ready up.
and get things rolling from there.
All right. Hopefully we get that fixed up pretty soon. Usually it's just one person has the wrong perk on or something. Probably, if we're being honest, well, I would say probably somebody had Dead Silence on, forgot to swap back to Hardline or something like that, if I had to guess. But we'll try to get these guys back into the game as soon as possible. And I'm hoping this happens soon, because we are an hour and a half in and we're only 2 games in. So this could look to be a very long night of Mobile Mayhem if these guys don't get their loadouts together pretty soon. There we go.
Enemy contact.
Alright, getting ready to spawn in. Explosion off the start. Not really entirely sure what that was about, but do have Hi coming in. I don't know. I haven't really. Can't really say I've seen the AK-117 as of. Yeah, there we go. MX-9 in hand. Something a little bit more that I thought would happen here in this game. Does get the A cap and a very desperate push attempt coming out of the side of Devious. They completely forgo C on the first point and lose the gunfight at B. So it's going to be a couple points of advantage coming through from the side of Seminole right out of the gate. Zolf winning a gunfight with Hi there might have an opportunity to get his feet on B and get a little bit more progress going here, but instead opts to just play it safe in the cubby. Takes a couple shots from Hi, but nothing convincing and nothing that's going to put him in the dirt quite yet. Slothy comes through with a big 2. Hi with the rotation up through top's going to find 1, gonna find 2, and just like that, might be an opportunity where Seminole can start to grab a little bit of clear out process. Hi pushes up, finds an extra 1.
I'm a little bit surprised that Seminole hasn't gone for the B push earlier, obviously playing things a little bit passive, but given how strong their warehouse control is right now, it seems like they should be able to get it pretty easily, and they do right here.
Enemy has Bravo.
3 players hop on, and right now if you look at the opposing team in Devious, just no real map control for them. Zolf trying to streak up a little bit. He's at 6 and 3 right now, gets a tiny bit of time on, and they actually get a big push in, but they don't have any of the top side control, and that's what you're gonna need to make it happen. Vague and Jez pushing from both sides. Jez gonna be able to find one, Vague with the shorty on another, and right now, even though you do find yourself down, you don't have B control if you're Devious. Your main objective is to just try to make sure that Seminole can't get too many score streaks, because that's really the one thing that can come back to bite you and punish you. Even if you do have strong side in the second half, you cannot allow them to build on big streaks. We do see Jez was on a 4, but he gets dropped off. Slothy's got 11 kills right here, so he has an opportunity to maybe get 2 operators by the time the second half starts. That definitely would be one of the biggest opportunities for them to build some score streaks, but they're going to need to start building those now if they're going to be able to snowball enough to make an impact in the second half.
We're losing
Yeah,
this
definitely a couple big kills coming through. They've got about a 20-point lead, but dropping down. Rihan gonna win that gunfight there, and might have an opportunity for them to start pushing up towards B. They have 3 in the top, but it doesn't matter. Raballo finds 1, Vague finds another. And it's definitely a really, really big advantageous push for the side of Seminole. And again, we needed to see the dominating performance coming through from them in the first half, because As we switch sides, it's going to be Devious having the strong side. And they're not limited to a 75-point cap. So that definitely could be a pretty big factor depending on how it goes. But
And one thing I will say, obviously, Devious does have strong side control in the second half. But with the way these gunfights are going, Seminole looks like they've stepped their game up a good bit. Pretty much everybody on Devious going double negative right here. And that was just complete dominance out of Seminole. Obviously, they didn't want to push out, make the push up towards C. But overall, definitely the best half of gameplay that we've seen them play so far throughout the day. Trophy going to get replaced by Jez right there. It's going to be Zolf pushing the top side. He finds one. Jez with the challenge. Trying to find another. Oh, and a huge kill right there. That's going to open things up. He gets the Sparrow out. Going to be able to find one, and it should be a free B cap for them. Jez sliding across and finds one kill, but does get traded out, and that is the early control that we expected for Devious. The real question is going to be, will they be able to maintain it?
Enemy contact.
Yeah, definitely going to be a difficult battle for Seminole from here on out. These two teams have been surprisingly evenly matched. And, you know, part of that being just that Devious, again, was a team that did have their struggles early on, but looked like a solid team, and they have definitely capitalized each week on that aspect. And this is one of those kind of staple, almost like gatekeeper teams, right? Like Seminoles here, honestly, just to keep some of the other teams down if they don't have the skill to keep moving. So keeping my eye on these guys for sure. And right now, it does look like Seminole have been able to push up. They get a little bit of progress on B, but nothing locked in yet. Does look like they're going to get it as Beetle can't get the push up, and Seminole going to start to extend that lead a little bit again.
Oh, and Slothy gets a huge Sparrow usage right there. Doubles players off of B. We see players hopping back on right now, and it looks like they're going to be able to get the retake onto B. But Jez with the shutdown, he finds a double kill as well. That's going to be huge for Seminole. He gets the trophy down. Nade's going out as well. You see Beetle hopping topside, looking to get the shutdown, and a huge feed goes in. But they got to make the push quick. You cannot allow too much time to go away right here. They're pre-firing, and Vague still playing spoiler right there, but he gets shut down by Zolf too. They haven't finished out the cap, but they're going to be able to do it right here. And I think just barely avoiding triple cap territory, but they cannot afford to give any time away to Seminole right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They desperately need this, and oh my goodness.
It might be a tie. It might be an exact tie. If we don't see B go back into control for Seminole, it might be a tie, but they get a massive push right there. And with Vague hopping on, gets another one. Jez is there to back him up. It looks like they might be able to get the cap they need.
30, 50, yeah, 30 and 50. So we actually are not quite triple cap territory right now.
But very close, and right now Devious needs a push immediately.
Yeah, definitely coming through to be a big game for Seminole if they maintain this. Progress is coming through.
They get it.
That's I think
they
that's
got it just
like
in time.
exactly triple, yeah.
Oh no, they're still down.
Yeah, that's
They need a triple.
Yep, triple cap needs to come through. And against a Seminole lineup, I don't have a lot of confidence in that happening.
Did I just see Zolf collat 2 players with a shorty? Is that what I saw?
I didn't see it, so I don't know.
Ah, that was something crazy. Zolf's actually snowballing some score streaks big time right here. And this is a huge opportunity for them. He's got a sentry gun to work with. They've got to start making the push at some point right here. And with Slothy and Jez getting pushed up, they might be able to get even more time onto B right here. It looks like he's looking to put down the sentry gun. Jez is right there and should be able to get rid of that sentry gun and should be able to secure the win for Seminole. All they really have to do is protect C right now. I don't even know why they're pushing up past C. If I'm being honest, you don't really have any reason to push up here, and obviously they want to assert their dominance, get that B control, whatever. Just not really a necessary risk. Oh my gosh, the turn out of Raballo right there, just absolutely disrespectful. And he's really showed up, but Slothy was one of the players we expected to see more out of in the earlier games, going 37 and 17. Big bounce back out of him, and that is the Seminole that we expected to see bouncing back and getting the 2-1 win.
Yeah, I mean, that might even be a little bit generous. I expected way more out of Seminole in this matchup, not just the win. And that didn't happen. So, I'm still hoping that they bounce through and show us that they can be that #1 team that we expect them to be. But today just didn't seem to be it. But Slothy coming through, leading the team there. Big frags on the board for him. 37 on the board. Next closest on the team drops down to Urabalo at 26. Vague and Jez with 21. High down at 11 is certainly not what I expected out of this matchup. High is normally a very consistent fragger for respawns, and that just didn't quite come through. Zolf 2, which I believe maybe campers based on the performance that we had here today. Does come through with 25 on the board, leading the team, but it just wasn't enough with Slothy fragging out the way he was. And the 11-point win does come through for the side of Seminole.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, an hour and 41 minutes in, and we are halfway through tonight's Mobile Mayhem matchups. And honestly, we've still got the best matchups still to go. Looking at this, we got 11T versus ARP. Obviously, ARP hasn't had the start that we expected out of them, but given the fact that they won North America, we know that they're able to compete with the best of the best. 11T currently, or was tied for second place. I'm assuming they won't be tied for second place anymore. No, they are still tied for second place because Tribe hasn't played yet, and NYSL and Cygnus don't play tonight. So an opportunity for them to actually move into second. But the matchup that I think a lot of people are probably looking forward to is going to be that Tribe versus Status Quo matchup at the end of the night, which is going to have a pretty big impact on the standings. And I'm going to let you talk about that while I go get a drink.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully we'll be able to get you guys into the action soon. Our best 2 matchups, at least in mine, and apparently Bobby's opinion, are still to come. And, that's definitely a good one, and especially since we did not expect the Seminole game to go to a Game 3 and be as close as it was. So I'm glad we've had some exciting matchups here for you guys tonight. For anybody joining us late, our remaining matches are going to be 11T versus ARP, as Bobby mentioned. And as we get into that 4th game, possibly one of the biggest ones of the night, we do have Tribe versus Status Quo, that formerly Arsenal explicit roster that you guys know and love. So hopefully we'll get into that one here soon for you guys. And I don't have the points ahead of me right now because I'm currently using OBS for my camera. But it's definitely been a tight season towards the top of the lineup. All right, guys, we do have players bouncing into the lobby. ARP showing up. Does look like it's going to be another night playing with Detry, and hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Detry is a slayer at their finest, so definitely have high hopes for them. Big opportunity for ARP to come through with some extra points that they need desperately with having missed those first couple weeks. But again, they're going up against a pretty tough opponent in the likes of 11T. 11T, one of those teams that has had a lot of success there towards the top of the lineup. Just about all you can really say about it. 11T have been dominant at every single aspect. So, got high hopes for 11T. They're one of my favorite LATAM teams, and let's just hope we get a good game between these two. And I think one of the interesting factors is, obviously, it is going to be a LATAM team in 11T and an NA team for ARP, but definitely a large Spanish-speaking following for ARP. So might be a little bit of some added rivalry in there because of that. Obviously, you're you're like diehard LATAM fans are going to be rooting for 11T on that aspect, but I definitely think there might be some that swing the gap a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good one. Obviously, as far as the regions they played for in stage 4, these two are in different regions, but like you mentioned, definitely a lot of overlap in the LATAM community, just because the way that they did stage 4 was really weird, because you have North America as a region, but then you have teams that are in North America that are playing in the Latin America region, and it's just all over the place. Regardless, I think this is going to be a good one. Raid Hardpoint, always an exciting one to watch. Can get a little bit chaotic with the spawns, especially once you get on over to P4, but overall, I think this is going to be a very competitive one. We will take a look at the maps and bans real quick. We got bans on the Kinetic Armor and the Sparrow, so probably a whole lot of Annihilators coming into play. Obviously, we expect to see those TAC 5s coming in a little bit as well, but overall, Hackney Yard, Search and Destroy for map 2, Firing Range Domination for map 3. Definitely an exciting one, and one to keep in mind is Hackney Yard S&D was the one S&D that this ARP team was able to take off of NYSL in stage 4. So definitely one of their stronger S&D maps, and a big opportunity for them to at the very least be able to push this to a game 3 and at most potentially get a 2-0, which is definitely what they need given their current standings.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and they have a lot of potential here tonight, but they don't have an easy opponent, and I definitely think that's one of the things that we are going to have to consider as we continue to move forward, but should be a fantastic match nonetheless. So we will see. Obviously, points very, very important at this time for the side of ARP, just due to them not having games played those first couple weeks. They were unable to field a roster, which is unfortunate, but definitely just one of those situations where you reap what you sow.
Yep. Excited to see this one. I'm curious who the final player low in for ARP is. Obviously, we got. Do you know who Palmini is for 11T? Or Pinochin?
I don't.
Okay. Potentially a couple new players, which could be an additional opportunity for ARP. Yuji. Okay, Yuji is Palmini.
Good to know. Good to know. Yuji is one of my favorite players from that team. So.
Yuhi. Apparently I've been pronouncing it wrong for the last 2 years.
Me too. Me too.
You know, the first time I heard Verdict say Yuhi, I thought he was the one that was saying it wrong, ironically.
No, I do believe he is saying it correct, but
All right.
my American mind doesn't think like that sometimes.
Okay,
I feel
hello.
like I'm
I
so
just
in the
wanted
habit.
on the record that I have been casting Mobile Mayhem since, what was it?
Forever?
What like March or April of 2020? So like I think I started before COVID even happened. That's how long I've been casting Mobile Mayhem. I'm pretty sure Yuhi has been in it since that start, and nobody has ever said a thing to me. So honestly, that's on my chat. I'm not calling you out. I'm calling my chat out, you know? How dare you
confirm,
guys?
B. Can confirm hello. He did call chat out, not you. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All chat's fault.
All right. We got everybody loaded in. Good to go. We got Jason, aka Zai, loaded in for 11T. We got Wiru. The Search and Destroy Demon. Palan is Palan or is that somebody else?
That's Palan.
Okay. And then Palmini is Yuhi. And do we know who Pinochin is?
Don't know who Pinochin is.
I'm probably completely slaughtering that pronunciation, but
yeah, this will be an interesting matchup, again, not only because these are two primarily Spanish-speaking teams, but also Detry and Pelon, former teammates from OP34, as well as I think Detry had a brief bit of time either on or trying out for 11T. So there's definitely going to be probably a little bit of rivalry there. But again, this new 11T roster, historically in the past, 11T were by all means a search and destroy team to be feared by everybody, but couldn't really pull together too much respawn performance. And this season, man, they are looking solid. So ARP, they may be coming off of a championship win from stage 4, but that does not mean 11T by any means is at a disadvantage in this matchup.
All right, so apparently Hello gave us the wrong information, and how do you pronounce it?
Hardpoint identified.
Palmini is
It's too close.
Raven, and Pinochin is Yuhi. So now we have all of that squared away, and I won't remember any of it. So I'm glad that I told
I
you
was
guys
thinking the same
just in
thing,
time
yeah.
for me to forget.
Tested.
Dietrich pulling out the AK, or not the, pardon, the Amex A67, which actually got a pretty sizable nerf, but regardless, obviously still able to make it work. Early entry into the hard point, early control for this ARP team, and Pepe roaming around trying to find a kill. He's just kind of taking shots left and right, not going to be able to find anything there. Weird pushes on in. He finds himself at 3 and 2 so far, and sees pretty much every ARP player looking to make the entry from that mid area. Dietrich gonna get shut down. One player, Pepe, on the backside trying to stay alive, but he's gonna get shut down as well. And despite the early time going in for ARP, it has been solid control for 11D for the rest of the hard point.
Yeah, so far it's been the case. Detry pushes up, finds one with the shorty.
Hardpoint identified.
Does look like both him and Jesus Saves gonna get that break. Start holding down some solid angles, but look at the angles that we have 11T playing. They're pushing for that jungle side respawn. They clear a couple out. We do have Pelon spawning out at rings, gonna get taken down by Veteran. Fortunately for them, Palmini, who we believe to be Raven, comes through with a big respawn. It helps the team get that break. 3 on the board for Wiro Detry. Now pushing in from behind, as you mentioned, the AMAX. Not a super common weapon to see since the nerfs, but definitely still usable. It's not horrible, just not as good.
Yep, and now Pelon from the top side pulls out the Holger, trying to spray and pray his way on into the hard point. He finds Detry right there. Pushes on in, and some time going in once again for 11T. And right now, if you're ARP, you got to decide, do you want to stay here? Do you want to push for next? They're going to be able to get the push from the backside, but that's going to allow 11T to go ahead and push and set up for next right here. So probably not the setup that we'd like to see for ARP, and right now all their players out of position, trying to get some sort of a push, getting absolutely shut down, especially with the operator starting to come in. Mago trying to see if he can get something right there. He concusses himself. Not what you want to see. Pulls out the shorty, gets shut down immediately as well. The hard point contested for the time being. Veteran going to be able to find the final kill. It's a 2-piece for him, and he is solo over here trying to defend against the barrage of 11T players pushing on into the hard point. And if I had to guess, there's probably going to be a whole lot of contest time on this one.
Yeah, Garage, typically speaking, going to be the money hill for this matchup, and I definitely expect it to be between these two teams as well. And, man, hard to call this one right now. The remaining a bit of this time appears to be going over towards the side of 11T. Detry was looking to make that rotation in, does end up finding it. I was a little concerned someone left the game there, but as you can see, that was Envoy from Zygnus jumped in to spectate, apparently.
Yeah, right now, pretty even this far through. Detry's going to be able to find one with the shorty. MX9 right there, going to find Pelon as well. And the next hard point looking like it's going to be another spicy one. We're able to find a huge 2-piece right there. 11T with the early control, but we've seen ARP having a little bit of success getting these breaks, especially with that smoke usage. Gonna be tougher to do, especially with the Holgers in play right here. Just 2 doorways that you got to constantly spray through. And you see Jesus Saves up in that top side, looking to make the push on in. Detry has a Annihilator to work with as well, and he's going to be the player that looks to make the push. Finds one, make it two, make it three. Can he make it four? Doesn't find the last one, but that should be the opening that they need to get the push on in. Pepe on the bottom of that basketball court, and we see 11T giving way to this ARP team. Very, very back and forth. Pred missiles coming in as well. You definitely got to keep an eye on Detry, who now has a Goliath at his disposal.
Hardpoint locked down.
Yeah, definitely a big couple plays coming through. Detry popped off hard, got himself a Goliath available. And with as even as the game is right now on this P5, they don't really have a desperation to use it and burn it on a P1. You could use it and go for potentially like a laundry control, but would definitely be more useful inside on a point like your kitchen. So we'll have to see how the points start stacking up here, and you can see Detry starting to push up towards mid here, but again, no Goliath call in as of yet.
And that I'm not gonna lie, that slide peek from Wiru was an absolute beauty right there. From the inside of this courtyard area, they have held this down so well, especially looking at the kill feed. They are setting themselves up perfectly for P2. 4 players already rotated out. They left 1 player all by himself, and with the Goliath going down, they're looking to close things out just over here on P1. Right now, we're taking a couple shots, but not enough to make enough of a difference to get ARP any type of opportunity. They really need a Pred missile right now. They need to call it in soon. They get their Goliath called in over in that top laundry area, as well as going to be Detry calling it in, and not top laundry, actually over by garage. It's going to be a battle of the Goliaths. You got 23 on the board, but doesn't have a whole lot of time to make a push. Look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard. There are 10 seconds. You do not have time to sit around. He's going to take the gunfight right there. Finds Wiru. That's what he needed. I swear there's a player in the top side for 11T, and Pinochin's finally going to be able to take him out right there. 2 seconds short of the win, but a player is disconnected for ARP. More than likely, that's probably going to seal the deal.
I'm hoping it's just a disconnect, but we obviously don't know. But the win going to come through for the side of 11T there. Like I said, this is a team that before we would have said, yeah, they probably have a chance in the search and destroy, but the respawn should go ARP. That is not the case this season. Wiru is well a player that, you know, we still to this day refer to him as just one of the most threatening search and destroy players, and has stepped his game up individually in respawns as well, coming through with a big performance there. 21 kills on the board, tied for second frag on the team. Detry came through with a big performance, however, on the side of ARP, but like we said, you know, we did have, unfortunately, 1 player drop from them, and I'm unsure what the repercussions of that might be. We'll have to check with our admins and see what they say on that.
Yep. Looks like that's exactly what 11T needed right there, and puts them in the position that they want to be as we get ready to move into the search and destroy, because that's been the mode that they felt the most comfortable in. Like we talked about earlier, the search and destroy Hackney Yard was the one search and destroy map that ARP was able to take off of NYSL, so that could potentially open up an opportunity for them. I believe they'll still have Pepe in play, and he was definitely the monster on that map that just terrorized everybody, especially with those shorty shots that he was able to hit. We'll see if they can make something happen right here, especially against the amount of talent that we have over on 11T. You got to deal with Zai, with Wiru, with Raven. Just so much skill over here. Definitely not going to be easy to contend with.
No, definitely not at all. And, you know, again, 11T, they're fortunate enough to be able to play in the North American scene just due to some ruling changes that we had here at Mobile Mayhem. The number 1 and number 2 teams from LATAM get to compete in North America, and then vice versa. The top 2 North American teams will get to compete in LATAM as well. It definitely spices up the regions quite a bit. And you guys know me, I'm a big Cygnus fan, so getting the opportunity to see them playing with the teams from North America once again is absolutely fantastic. I never, ever, ever, ever get tired of seeing Tribe versus Cygnus, and You did miss it yesterday, Bobby. We had a obviously not for Mobile Mayhem, but we had a Tribe versus Zygnus matchup that was exclusively melee. It was fantastic. It was so good. Tatio's cracked with the boxing gloves.
I can imagine. I'm sad that I missed out on that one.
I missed out on it too. I didn't get to cast that one, but I did get to watch it.
Okay. All right. Well, we do have Pepe getting loaded back in. I believe he had some connection issues at the end of the game. Obviously unfortunate, but they are happy to have him back in. It looks like he's looking to reload into the lobby. They might be getting a substitution just if his internet is on the fritz right now. So hopefully we can get everything squared away and good to go for Hackney Yard S&D. It looks like Pengy is actually going to be subbing in right here. So obviously another one of their stage 4 players. Curious how things are going to shape up toward the end of the season. Obviously, most of these teams, their main objective is to do as well as possible in stage 5. So a little bit surprising to see this many substitutes coming into play, especially with Veteran not on their champs roster, Detri not on their champs roster. But definitely pulling out some solid performances as they look to climb the rankings here in Mobile Mayhem.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to. It's going to be a hard one, but something that they're definitely capable of. Again, according to some Twitter, there have been some known issues on the side of ARP that they're working on, and we definitely expect big things coming out of them for our Masters games that we have, or Champ Stage 5 games that we have coming up in a little over a month at this point. And this is one of your best places, guys, to come and keep an eye out and really see how these teams are developing, because this time in between, while it may not be stage 4 or stage 5, players go through their good streaks and their bad streaks. Teams go through their good streaks and their bad streaks. So it could be a big deciding factor, and being able to witness it here definitely gives you an opportunity to know what to expect moving forward.
Yep, definitely advantage 11T right here, is they're going to be able to get the bomb down, come away with man advantage. Mago and Jesus Save still alive, and obviously Jesus Save's primary sniper for the team, former NYSL player, who has definitely thrived in the primary sniper role for ARP right here, looking to find a pick, open up the push over onto the A site, but nobody for 11T peeking anything right now. Palan's got 2 on the board already. I believe there's a lurker who should be able to find it. Yep, Pinochin gonna find that one right there. Make it a 2-piece. Mago drops. 11D takes round 1.
A big round for 11T, and just because I've hyped up their advancement and respawns does not at all mean that they have put any sort of strain on their search and destroy performance, and I definitely expect to be able to showcase that for you guys here in this matchup. Match between Titans, some Worlds bound teams coming through big. Ooh, Nochin, who is believed to be UG, coming through with a big 2-piece there in the feed. Jason and Palan as well, each coming through with 1.
Yep, Jesus Saves, lands the side. Missing a couple that we're used to seeing him hit, and he's going to be forced to back up as he goes ahead, misses one there as well. Palmini right on the inside of that corner. Goes ahead, peeks it. Oh, what a shot at it. Jesus Saves, and maybe starting to hit the flow state a little bit right here. Still got 30 seconds to work. Pinochin on the top side. Shorty's going to go ahead and come out. I believe Audio Q is going to go through as he hops up right there and hops back down. Banking on the one shot to hit. Pinochin, I think, might have actually one-tapped to the head right there. The M67 AMAX, and that's going to close out another round for 11T. Looking really strong so far as Pinochin with 5, Palan with 3. Neither of those players have died. And over on ARP, Jesus Saves the only player above 1 kill right now.
Yeah, Palan opens up with a big kill onto Penky. Make it 2 as he finds Jesus Save as well. But Detri for a refrag. Doesn't matter, man. Palan just winning the gunfights that he needs to for the team. It's now a 3 versus 1. ARP down, but not out. Plant coming through. Mago. The last member alive for the side of ARP needs to find 3 kills and a defuse here. if he wants to tie things up. And again, 11, such an amazing team. Look at the angles that they have playing on bomb here. Do have one player that is looking out across mid. It's going to be Jason, aka Zai. Has picked himself up in MX9 and it's going to be looking for the kill, but it doesn't matter. Palan comes through and is going to find it.
Ready up.
3-0 now. 11 lead.
Yeah, ARP just not looking good in the S&D right now. There a lot of players struggling. You got Mago and Pengi both still yet to find a kill. Just not really looking like the team that they were in stage 4. Whether that be maybe they haven't had the amount of hours in that they're used to. They're able to find one pick off the start, which is exactly what they needed. Penosian climbing up, trying to find a pick, and it looks like Mago's got the read. Could be a perfect nade. It's actually gonna go sailing across over top, and he's gonna be able to find the wallbang regardless. So definitely a big opener. And Palmini has not been able to find a kill so far. So this definitely looks to be the round that they were looking for. He's gonna hit some shots right there, finds one pick, has an opportunity for the 1v3. MX9 and the Shorty, not a bad combo to have on the inside of this warehouse building. Making his way all the way to top L. Oh, and he sees one. Peeks right out the window. Mago really wants that kill, but gonna be forced to sit back, play things a little bit passive, and he's gonna make his way all the way across that top side. Palmini not in a good spot right here. Gonna be a tough gunfight to win, especially with the amount of head glitches that they've got to work. Has the read, but not able to hit the shots right there. Gonna force the slide. He gets the two-piece. It doesn't matter. They line up for him. They give him the free 1v3. And ARP just not able to close out the rounds right now.
Yeah, that's a tough one to swallow there, as that round was starting to look real good for ARP. I was hoping they were bouncing back, and unfortunately that was just not the case for them as they let another one go. Now the 4-0 lead in favor of 11. Might be looking to go into the second half just one round away from picking up a win. Do have Jesus Saves coming through with a big double. Doesn't really matter the rest of the team getting traded out. Palmini and Penosian. Whoo! Beam and Mago off that head glitch.
Man, I mean,
Enemy has dropped the
my man Penosian, was it Penosian or Palmini? I think it was Palmini. Went from 0-2 to getting 3 kills right there in a 1v3. What a turnaround for him. And oh my gosh, 11 backed into a corner, but they don't care. They said we're gonna get the kills anyway. Find 2. Pengi able to find one of those trades. Gonna be a 3v3 right here. Pengi just pushing some very awkward angles. You don't want to put yourself in those spots. Now veteran forced outside of that area. Penosian gonna be able to find another, and now all the pressure onto Jesus Saves to try to avoid the 6-0. This doesn't seem manageable, especially with the sniper in hand. Not going to be able to find those lineups like you normally are with an SMG or an LMG or an AR in hand. And right now he's just hoping that Penosian pushes up, and he does do that. Able to get the kill right there. Not really sure what the goal of that push was, especially with the bomb down over in warehouse. Seems kind of like an ego push right there, but regardless, Jesus Saves now an opportunity for a 1v3 of his own.
Yeah, looking like this might be an 11 game, closing things out 2-0 if ARP aren't able to find something. And right now, going to be on the backs of Jesus Saves coming through with a 2v1 clutch. We'll definitely have a possible scenario. He does have an AMAX in hand, so something that has been nerfed in the most recent update, but man, Weru gets that sixth sense, feels the push, and with the MX9 able to win that close range gunfight absolutely uncontested, comes through with the 2-0 victory. And I gotta say, I was surprised that the Seminole Devious match went to game 3, and I'm more surprised that this one didn't. This on paper seemed like such a good match, but man, 11 come through absolutely dominant. My goodness, 6-0 over ARP there.
Stand down.
Yeah, I mean, ARP just across the board really struggling right there. Dietrich with 2, Pengi with 2, Maga with 2. especially for Pengi and Mago to be two of your usual main starters, for them to only be able to find that all the way through. And you look at 11T, Wiru was bottom frag and they still had no issue. So I think that's a lot less about him having a bad game and more about the fact that he just couldn't find kills because his teammates were soaking them all up. If you're ARP, I think you got to start putting some more hours in. They just don't seem to be at the same level that they were for stage 4. Maybe that was some things going right in stage 4, but regardless, you know that they're capable of doing more than they're doing right now. But especially if we take a look at the standings right now, they are very, very close to being at the very bottom of the scoreboard. 10 points, only ahead of Primal right now. You got the newer teams like Storm and Devious still ahead of them. And they very desperately need to find a way to win some more games in these future matchups.
Yeah, we'll definitely be keeping our eye out for them. Again, there is still quite a bit of time left. You know, they have, I think, 5 more opportunities, so up to 100 points up to grab out of them, depending on buys. I'm not sure how many they have left. I'd have to pull up the exact schedule and then comb through each and every single day and figure that out. But obviously, being down in the position that they are is not ideal. So hopefully we have them come through and turn things around, because, you know, not to show favoritism to them by any means, but they're a team I do not expect to be in the position that they're in. And it is a bit unfortunate, but sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. Well, we are now ready to get headed into our final matchup of the night, and definitely the one that I've been most excited for. Status Quo, a team that coming into this season, we knew had a lot of talent on it. We weren't really sure whether or not it was going to translate into success, especially, I mean, even if you look at Seminole, that's a team that doesn't have anybody playing in stage 5, so obviously not taking things quite as seriously. Very real possibility that we could have seen that out of Status Quo as well. Only one player playing in stage 5. He didn't even know he's going to be playing in stage 5 until like a week ago. But regardless, they are really giving it their all and making a name for themselves as they find themselves at the very top of the leaderboards right now. Or they were at the very top until 11T got that 2-0 against ARP. They're looking to maintain that position if they can get a win, but they're going to be going up against Tribe Gaming, which is definitely not going to be an easy matchup. How do you see these two teams matching up against each other?
Well, you got to believe in the likes of Solo and Blur, and then you add Washi on top of that, and my goodness, you have an absolutely stacked roster here on the side of Status Quo. But Tribe, they're a team that has season after season, time after time, even when they're in a pinch, been able to come in and prove some of the haters wrong. So it definitely should be a good match. I would lean a little bit on the side of Tribe, but not by any large margin. I mean, it would definitely be in a close matchup. Could see this one going to game 3. Normally we would say, hey, Status Quo, a super strong search and destroy team, and Tribe, they've got the respawns down, but the search and destroy is a struggle. You know, one of the big things was that that stage 4 game that they dropped against Explicit, which I don't think anybody saw coming. And I think that was a big wake-up for them, because they have definitely turned around their search and destroy performance. Not super consistent on it, but, I mean, they are looking way better than they have in the past.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm just looking at the search and destroy talent on this Status Quo roster. It's going to be really, really tough for Tribe. I mean, you look at Solo, who's not even like a... Usually you expect the sniper primaries to be the ones that carry their teams through, but Solo, just an all-around dominant player in search and destroy. You got Blur, who's a top-tier sniper. You got Washi, who you could probably make the argument one of the best snipers in North America right now. You got Jingo, a solid player. You got Ingenic, massively improved from some of his past performances. All that together going to make it really tough for Tribe to contend in the search and destroy.
You're absolutely right on all of that, and I'm definitely excited for this matchup. Obviously, it's not going to be an easy one for either of these teams. Tribe, one of the teams that is worlds bound now at this point, as we mentioned. Solo, for example, one of those players that does have a second chance at life, and gonna be pushing to grind with that every opportunity he gets. So I expect a full-on bloody battle here between these two teams, and looks like we have tribes starting to funnel in now.
Yeah, I think to a certain degree. I mean, obviously, Tribe has been doing well in the small tournaments that have been hosted and everything else. Um, haven't quite had the consistency that we expect them to in Mobile Mayhem, but obviously, regular season you can't put too much weight on these matchups. Obviously, each of these teams wants to win, but not quite as much on the line as in your stage fours and everything else that's happening. So they're looking at the end of the day to get as much practice in as they possibly can and looking to practice their strats on each of these maps. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the maps and bans real quick. Ban on the Annihilator, ban on the Kinetic Armor, so expect to see some Tag 5s and some Sparrows in play. Tribe banning Takeoff, and Status Quo banning Standoff, so another interesting one right there. Summit Hardpoint is going to be our Game 1, Firing Range S&D for Game 2. And if we go to a Game 3, Crossfire Domination, which you guys know that I hate.
I think we all do. Definitely not the fairest map. That one is possibly the one with the most distinct advantage to one side or another. So you hate to see it, but you know it's a champs map, so obviously it's going to be in our rotation as well, and you know that's going to be practice that both of these teams are looking for. Again, this is one of the major stepping stones between here and a worlds competition at this point, or half worlds rather. So.
And it looks like Image might be playing for Tribe. Normally I would assume that he's just inviting players in, but he loaded in after Band and Perish.
Band joined off of me, so.
Okay. That is possible that they'll have a full roster, but obviously, I don't know if he's even listed as a roster player for them. I had assumed that he wasn't, but I believe we do allow 7, and most of these champs rosters only have 6 players, so could be possible he was added in just as a last second addition if they do need a substitute. They do have Envy, Perish, and Band loaded in, so Bolu and Marshy typically the last 2 that we expect to see, but all of the players loaded in so far for Status Quo, just waiting for 1 or potentially 2 more players to load in for Tribe, then we'll be good to go for Hardpoint Summit.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. A lot of Titans, a lot of really big names left on both of these teams. You know, you can't sleep on Band, Perish, Envy, Marshy, Bolu, all fantastic players. And you look over at the opposition, and man, this is a stacked lineup as well. And it's one of the things I've said in the past couple weeks is that Ingenic previously would not have been a player on my you know, major to look out for list, but has definitely stepped his game up this season. I mean, we knew him as a search and destroy player before for sure, but kid's kind of cracked now. He's really having a good performance with the AMAX. Obviously, we're in a new update. AMAX not as strong as it once upon a time was, but the SKS, a gun that is very, very similar and is in a great spot right now. So definitely would expect to see him dabbling with that one a little bit. And yeah, I'm excited for this matchup. Does look like Image dips out. Bolu gonna come in. Chico's has been
I was gonna say, who is Chico's? There we go. All right, as we expected, Bolu and Marshy gonna be the last 2 players to load in for Tribe. So you expect this to get started pretty soon right here. This is pretty much the standard starting roster that we expect to see from them. I don't think that we've seen Childs play for them so far in this Mobile Mayhem season.
No, we have not, I don't believe.
Okay.
And part of that is probably going to be I don't believe he's contracted with Tribe for all intensive purposes. At least that was the message in the past through some events. So I don't think he's making a Worlds appearance. So it would make sense that they're probably most times, unless if they really need someone to fill in, going to try to play with that main lineup and get that practice in.
All right. A little bit surprising. I'm assuming that's less of a I don't want to play decision and more of a like contract thing or whatever it is, because especially given with how well he played for them, especially in the search and destroy, you expect him to at least be an option. But looks like this is going to be the go-to roster for Tribe, and especially on the respawns, they're going to be looking to shine bright as missing your primary sniper. And we have seen Bolu make some really big steps in his consistency in the sniper role. That's a role that we've seen him do decently in past seasons, but not necessarily super consistent across the board. See Bolu creeping his way on up, and he's going to be able to get shots onto Washi to be able to get the major assist. It's going to be status quo with the initial entry, but strong control right here for Tribe as they look to get that push up on in, and now starting to stack some of this time on the hard point.
Hostiles have captured the hard.
Yeah, Washi going to come through with one, but the COD timing catches him there. He ends up still getting the kill onto Band, but this is definitely a hard P1 to hold, and with Marshy pushing on in with an MX9, that is absolutely a play that you expect Marshy to make. Comes through with a big double for the team, and now it is going to be a bit of a retake up top for Tribe. They get themselves the point, and they're now looking to clear out for the rotation over to P2. Only about 5 seconds left on the clock, so not a lot of time left, but is going to be a little bit going on for Tribe picking up those extra points there.
And even though that was a pretty even start, there are a lot of big Tribe feeds that we saw go in right there. Marshy tries to slide the corner with the shorty, but not going to be able to hit the follow-up shot. And V find one, and he's got 8 on the board already. Really, in the slaying category, Tribe completely dominating, but not necessarily able to convert it over into time on the hard point so far. Parrish going to get shut down, and Genic sliding that corner. Going to be able to find Bolu as well. Envy there for the trade. Very, very back and forth start as Tribe finally able to get that control, and Envy really popping off right now. Not really a player we can expect to be a consistent top frag for Tribe, but we know any one of these players can pop off at any given point in time, and he's doing that right now as Washi's going to be the player pushing in for this status quo roster.
Yeah, about an even game between these two teams right now. Basically dead even, as we now are pushing for those P3 spawns right now. Does appear to be status quo actually in the lead for that, and the kinetic does come through strong. Washi has a Sparrow available. Just taken down off the spawn. Knew that player was roaching there. It's a must win for him, but fortunately he was at least able to get the respawn. Picks up one, but gets taken down in return. Only going to get one out of that Sparrow, and Envy comes through with a big quad for the team. Parrish manages to kill himself, not sure how.
And right now, this is just rough for status quos. It looks like you have good spawns, but in reality, you're just getting spawn trapped. Because especially with Tribe, with the control that they have from the inside of the hard point, with the players set up on the edges, and with the spawns so awkward with the way that they play over here on Summit, you can be not in control of the hard point and still at an additional disadvantage because you let the other team spawn trap you. They start to stack the score streaks. Now you look at Envy. He's got 20 kills. He's got a Sparrow. He's got a Pred Missile. He's got a Hunter Killer, just absolutely blowing away this lobby. Washi doing everything that he possibly can to try to keep status quo in things right here. But they're going to need a big push, especially with Tribe with the early control here on P4 as well.
Definitely looking to be the case, and right now it's about a 40-point lead for the side of Tribe. They have control of P4 and its spawns. Marshy, MX9 in hand, finds one. Gonna pick up one onto Jingo as well, forcing the opposition back a little bit, and Tribe are massively extending their lead right now. Washi and Blur starting to push on in. Blur gonna find two. It's gonna give him a little bit of a break onto the point with Washi picking one out of the spawns. The spawn have flipped. Big opportunity now. Oh, wait, no. Oh, they started to flip and then stopped. Oh, that's so unfortunate. That's a big feels bad for the side of Status Quo. I thought they anchored that spawn and were able to pull it, but Tribe gets the respawns once again and is going to maintain point.
Yeah, the thing I've learned in Summit Hardpoint spawns is in order to anchor spawns, you basically have to be sitting in the complete back of the map. Otherwise, it's all RNG. It's going to be Marshy up and down on in. Finds one right there. Blur hit by the concussion. Fred missile coming in. Opportunity for two. Only able to find one. Jingo slides on through. Able to get the pick right there. And Tribe now with the contest. They're able to get the break. It looked like they were for a second, but it's actually going to be Ingenic by himself right there. Now the top side push. Solo doesn't see Envy from the backside. He gets shut down from the bottom. Missed a couple shots and somehow stays alive. Still gets the kill right there. Now 24 kills for him. Tribe dominating this map right now as Envy looks untouchable. 25 and 12. Every single player going positive. A little bit surprising that this is as close as it is, because right now this Status Quo roster just getting absolutely slayed out. Solo more than double negative, or was more than double negative. I believe he just got 3 kills in the last like 10 seconds, but regardless, man, Tribe looking really solid here on map 1.
Yeah, Tribe looking like they're going to come through with the dominating victory again. Status Quo, however, traditionally going to be a great search and destroy team, and Tribe, while they have improved, history has told me that their search and destroy still needs work. So maybe still an opportunity to see a game 3 if Status Quo aren't able to make this comeback here. Delily, aka Marshy, comes through with a big 3 in the feed, but Solo answers back. Now Washi coming through with a couple kills of his own. Solo continues to fill the spree, but ends up taking himself down after a quad with the Sparrow. We're now coming into a 30-point game between these two teams. Washi pushes up, gets taken down. And Tribe with the retake. There's enough time on the board for them to close it out if they hold for the rest of time, but a single
Solo
second of
just
contest
went from 8 kills to 20 kills in a span of like a minute and a half. Absolutely massive turnaround for him. Blur trying to get the contest. He's going to be able to do it long enough to, at the very least, be able to avoid the loss. They're on P2, but they're going to get spawns here as well. Wait, I thought they had spawns, but now Parrish is behind them. I don't even know what spawns are anymore. Parrish is going to push up. 18 kills for him, trying to find another, but Blur hitting the shots, but I don't know if they've got enough time. And with the Sparrow on the inside of the hard point, Bolu deals the final blow right there, and they're able to weather the storm. Tribe Gaming takes game 1.
Definitely a must-have for Tribe there, as they almost give up the round, and fortunately for them, are able to pull things back together, at least in a little bit of a fashion there at the end. But man, that was starting to look real doable for the side of Status Quo. And again, their respawn game, not as strong as their search game. So we might still have an opportunity where we could see a game 3. It's going to be a hard comeback, or a hard-fought comeback from them. Obviously, Tribe, even though they have looked a little rough in their search in the past, it is not necessarily saying that they can't come through with a win here, because again, they've stepped up their search and destroy games in a big way, and I have high hopes for them putting on a good performance here. Hopefully up to Status Quo's performance. Obviously, they may be able to push us into that game 3, but this is going to be our last series of the night, guys.
Yeah, Marshy popped off big time right there, 32 and 14. Big credit to Washi. He was struggling toward the end of that game, and he went from, I think he was like 8 and 20 or something, and finished at 24 and 24. Big turnaround for him. Maybe a little bit too late in the game for it to make enough of a difference, but definitely a good sign for them as they get ready to hop into the search and destroy. There's a lot of search and destroy talent on this team, and this is going to be really tough for Tribe to deal with. Do you see any major factors that could potentially result in a Tribe win outside of Bolu really popping off with a sniper?
I mean, you can never doubt Marshy, right? Like, Marshy is just a absolute monster in every sense of the word, and typically he's one of their top fraggers for Search and Destroy. So yeah, we can sit here and look at Bolu, who's obviously made a recovery and is really back on his A game, but any one of these guys over here on Tribe can absolutely slay out in a big way and really steal it away from Status Quo. Again, if Status Quo are able to bounce back and win a search here, they at minimum pick themselves up 5 points for the night, which again is as competitive as the top of this season's bracket has been. Could be a difference maker.
Yeah, it definitely not. I mean, I expected the top of the bracket to be close, but it is really neck and neck right now, and especially with Tribe being kind of, I say middle of the pack, but you've got 4 teams tied for second place. So right now they're looking to, at the very least, get a step above those, and with that game 1 win, they minimum secure 5 points, which is going to advance them above that second place spot. I believe at the very least moves them into 3rd, and the rest of the teams behind them in 4th. So looking pretty good right here, but they really want to get at least the series win, if not the 2-0. I think it's going to be a really tough 2-0 to get. Like we mentioned, Solo just an all-around great search and destroy player, Blur a great sniper, Washi a great sniper, and Genic a great S&D player who's really improved over the last couple seasons, and obviously Jingo a solid all-around player. So Tribe's really going to have to bring their A game, and we know the search and destroy is the one area they need to improve the most. This is a huge opportunity for them to practice at the very least.
Yeah, and I know you've missed a lot of the series that we've had, Bobby, but they have absolutely stepped up their search and destroy. So, gonna be looking for a great game between these two teams here. Obviously, as we were mentioning earlier, Bolu has been working on being that primary sniper for the team with much better success than we've seen in the past. A lot more consistency. But man, you look at the opposition, Blur and Washi are big names in the sniper game, so got high hopes for this one to be a good one.
Yep, and it's going to be a defensive start for Status Quo right here. Pulling out the nades, the trophies. Washi's trying to find the opening pick and an aggressive push for Tribe off the start. Nothing too surprising out of them. That seems to be their go-to, especially in the S&D. Solo gonna find the opening pick. Ban drops right there. Gonna make this push a lot more difficult. Solo, I believe, gonna be able to back up. Probably pulling out the shorty if I had to guess, but it's gonna be Marshy winning the shorty battle right there, and Washi looking for the wall bang right there. Not able to find the starting one. He's just trying anything that he can right now, not spotting anybody through the wall. Not gonna be able to hit Envy there either, and now Genic and Blur in a sketchy spot. Getting picked apart by this Tribe team. Blur pretty weak here as well. Now playing back of American and trying to find Bolu. Oh, what a headshot right there. Now Envy's all by himself. The collapse incoming, trophy goes out, and Genic sees him, but Blur's gonna be the one that hits the shot. Even with a man down, they get the retake right there in a big opening round 1 for Status Quo.
Definitely a must-have for them as they come through with the W, but it's only 1 round. There's still a lot of search and destroy to go. Obviously, a big factor in that round was Blur finding 2 big picks for the team. Marshy, however, on the side of the Tribe was able to find 2 as well. MB picking up 1, so a round that could have gone either way. You see Tribe really starting to aggressively push up, but Jingo is going to find 1 in the smoke, takes down Parrish, and Marshy going to fall as well as Solo going to pick. Oh my goodness.
Yup. They just got picked apart right there, and now Bolu's all by himself. He's taking shots from behind. He's sitting in a corner. He's in a 1v5, and Genic on the flank anyway. It wouldn't have mattered. And not that Status Quo even looked bad in round 1, but the adaptations to just completely smoke them there in round 2 looked really, really good. And Tribe's gonna have to throw some really different looks. They get some information on Bolu making the push over toward B as well. That's gonna slow down the Tribe push, and once again, just the solid plays. And the wall bang from Blur onto Bolu as well. The perfect read. It just seems like at every turn they've got the right play here in the Search and Destroy.
It does seem to be the case right now as we have some really big performances coming through. And another opening pick for Status Quo. It's starting to look like they might be really putting their foot down to push us to that game 3, which I'd love to see between these two teams. Even though this Status Quo lineup won't be a Worlds competitive team, they can obviously come through and absolutely show us a solid performance here. There's still money on the line, obviously, for Mobile Mayhem. There's a lot of bragging rights on the line as well. And Jingo, this is a pretty aggressive position. He does make the fall back as he maybe gets the call out from his team that Tribe are not pushing A, expecting some players to rotate, and he might get one on Band here. Band's gonna turn the corner, but not peek in the angle, and Jingo and Agenik each find one. Blur comes through with one onto Envy as well, and Solo gonna clean up Marshy, a clean 5 sweep in that round for the side of Status Quo.
Yeah, that's a back-to-back 5-0s for Status Quo there. I mean, and we said that coming into it. There's just so much Search and Destroy talent on this roster that are going to be so difficult to contend with for any of these teams. We'll see if Tribe can make some switches right here, and finally, Solo going to get picked off on the backside of that little wood barrier right there. Marshy throwing down the trophy, but Blur's going to get the pick anyway. Jingo finds another. Envy's all by himself, pushes up, finds one. He's in a 1v3, and Washi pulls out the shorty. Man, this Status Quo roster is deadly.
Bomb spotted. Enemy has dropped the bomb.
Yeah, definitely.
Destroy the objective.
I expected this to be a good game for Status Quo. I did not, excuse me, expect it to be this good. You know, they're on the road to possibly going into the second half of this game with a 5-game advantage, and that would be huge for them because we're at a point where Tribe obviously are making a lot of mistakes, and if you aren't able to capitalize, then could be a dangerous situation. But 3 lined up and knocked down for the side of Tribe. Washi.
Oh, he hit the cross shot. So there's like a tiny little line on the bottom of trailer where you can see names through trailer and hit the wall bang right there. He might be able to get Envy here as well. It doesn't matter. Agenik finds the pick. Marshy with a big flank right there. And that's what Tribe needed, because it looked like they were going to get picked apart one at a time. And Agenik does not have the read on the players in the backside of A, and now not really an opportunity for him to close that one out. Tribe avoids the 6-0 right there, but man, really another huge opportunity for Status Quo that didn't quite play itself out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And Tribe, they find a round, but they are still down so far. And now look at this aggressive B-side push coming out of Status Quo. We do have 2 players of Tribe coming this way, but it is certainly going to be a difficult one. And now you can see Tribe starting to collapse as the call out comes through. Envy going to find a big 2. I believe that's the M13 in his hands as he's able to pick it up. As we were talking about a little bit earlier, this gun, specifically this skin, does feel a little bit pay to win. It's got that free red dot built into it. Not that the M13 has a lot of recoil, but this gun makes it just even less with the skin on it. So definitely a strong one that I expect to see at least until maybe some changes come through. Not to mention 60 rounds in the mag. I mean, that's pushing like really heavy LMG quality. Oh my goodness, Washi! Oh, did you catch that one on stream?
Yeah, that was a clean 2-piece right
goodness.
there. Oh, he gets hit by the concussion, but I think he's going to be able to prone. And a little bit surprised Tribe didn't apply any pressure. I guess they were just trying to get the information, making sure he was still up there. An opportunity for a 1v5 for him, and you know that he's capable of it, especially hitting shots like those. Trying to make the push up and see if he can get the bomb, and right now Tribe's not really trying to contest it. Can pull out the shorty right here, able to pick up the bomb. Parrish right on the backside of Car, and it looks like he's expecting it. I think he sees him. Not able to hit the shot. Tries to hit the follow-up as well. Parrish now backing up to tires. Bolu's there for backup. Not going to be easy. Not going to hit the shots right there. You got to hit those if you're going to have a shot at 1v5ing Tribe. Not meant to happen. Now 2 rounds in a row going in for Tribe.
Target's in sight.
Washi gonna go ahead and place the trophy down over there, and this time it looks like Status Quo gonna play things a little more passive, getting up some of those early picks. Not something you want to do, especially against a tribe that can punish you like Tribe does. A team that can punish you. Did I say a tribe that can punish you? Envy
You did.
gets dropped off right there by Ingenic. Bowler spots one, but he's not going to be able to execute, and it's going to be Washi getting the kill. And now, once again, Status Quo man advantage.
Yeah, definitely a big round needed for Status Quo here. We're at a position where, you know, they could come through with a win over Tribe, push us into that game 3. And as I mentioned, between these two teams, I'd love to see it because the domination for these guys is both incredibly strong. So right now we do have the bomb pushed up and planted. 35 seconds on the clock for Tribe to find 4 kills and a retake on that defuse. Now with a couple players pushing up towards trailer, we're gonna have to see as we have one in here. Solo gonna drop, but Jingo gets a refrag. Band gonna find 2. It's gonna bring this to 2s right now. Marshy able to find Ingenic. Oh,
Wow.
Washi turns and Band and Marshy able to clutch that round up. My goodness, that was absolutely Status Quo's to win, but Band coming through with 3 kills there. And the defuse is absolutely huge. And Tribe, they were in a position where they could not afford to give up any ground, and now it's looking like the comeback is on.
The enemy has the bomb.
That was a combination of really good plays for Tribe and really bad timing for Status Quo, and really played out. Band with a really interesting nade angle right there, and it somehow works out for him. There's somebody right below him on barrels. He's gonna get picked by Blur right there. Status Quo looking up, trying to play things aggressive right here. Bomb's gonna go down. Bolu sees one. Jingo's got to back up right here. He's got 6 kills to his name. Right now they have that solid 8 control, and with Band down, Parrish still yet to find a kill. I didn't even realize he's 0-5 right now, and still they're making this comeback happen right now, and now comes down to the waiting game. Parrish pushing on in, Shorty comes on out.
Target down.
If you're Jingo, all you have to do is sit and wait. Don't even know why he pushed out right there. Right now, Marshy all by himself, and he's got to stick it, but Jingo's there on the backside. Beaming with that MX-9, and 1 round away is Status Quo from pushing us to a game 3.
Yeah, and again, I'd love to see a game 3 between these two teams. Status Quo's hardpoint has always been a little bit sketchy, and Tribes has always been pretty strong. So moving into a game mode where they're both really strong competitors would be ideal, because we have huge names in the mobile scene, or multiplayer scene, I mean, for COD Mobile here. And again, Washi, what was that? My goodness. Gets a flick through the wall, picks up the kill onto Band, who's been one of the biggest factors for Tribe, and with Blur picking up 1 onto Envy as well. It's now a 5 versus 3. We've seen Tribe clutch it up. Parrish finally able to get 1 on the board in that last round, but Marshy, like I was saying, he can be one of those characters for the side of Tribe that can just come through and hard carry. He finds kill number 11 on the board, leading the lobby by at least +2 as he picks up the 1 onto Blur, and you can see Washi getting that information from his teammate is on the lookout there on the backside. Marshy in a 1 versus 4, 35 seconds on the clock. This is looking like we're going to a game 3.
Finds the opening pick. He picks up a sniper. He said, I want a little shot at a 1v4 for myself. Not a whole lot of time to work it. If he hits a crazy snipe right here, it's possible. And I think he saw Ingenic maybe out of the corner of his eye, but not enough vision for him to be able to get the kill. Status Quo very strong once again, as we expected, in the search and destroy, and that's gonna push us to a game 3 to close out the night between Status Quo and Tribe.
Washi is just such a great addition to this team, and coming through with a great search and destroy performance there. We did almost see Tribe make the comeback, but Washi picked up a couple key kills in those final rounds that really started to bring it together. Blur as well, another fantastic sniper, and Marshy as you mentioned, picked up the sniper for himself and was looking, hey, maybe, you know, I can get myself a clip to put on ye old Twitter, or maybe I can make the comeback for my team. But unable to pull it together there, unfortunately. And fortunately for Tribe, they are now forced to play in a final game here, as again, both these teams actually really solid in domination. I expect this to be a good one.
Yeah, definitely agree. I believe we had Parrish exit early. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Hopefully it wasn't.
I believe it was just the bug of skipping the kill cam.
Okay. Well, we've got Crossfire Domination coming up, and you guys know how much I hate that. Do you know which team gets strong side in first half? Day, do you know what team gets strong side first half?
I was just kind of trying to look through some of my notes, because some of the maps do different spawns, and I think for Crossfire, it might be Tribe spawning A side first.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I don't seem to have that one in my notes. I went through and poked on a couple of the maps and tried to figure that out, because it's weird how some of them blue spawns A and others red spawns A. So I don't have notes on this one yet.
All right. Well,
Definitely can be a deciding factor though, because this is possibly the most punishing map to have the strong side start, because that second half is going to be pain.
the one thing I will say is if you do have strong side in the first half, you have an opportunity to potentially snowball some of those score streaks, maybe get multiple operators and start to stack some of those. That's going to be your best opportunity to win from the weak side and maybe get an easy flip. So that's definitely what these teams are going to be looking to do. For those of you who are wondering what I'm doing, I have my Astro subliners magnets that I'm currently polarizing. They like push each other away, so that's what I'm doing right now. Anyways, I'm excited to see this one. There's always the potential that even with weak side in second half that you can still find a way to win. So definitely, I'm not going to say rooting for the underdog, but at the end of the day, just hoping that we get a tight matchup right here as we do hop into the final game of the night. Do have all of our players readied up, and we should be good to hop in pretty soon.
Does look like we're just waiting on Parrish to get readied up, and we'll get you guys into the action. It's certainly been a fantastic set of games for these teams, and can't think of a better way to round the night out with another game 3. We saw the game 3 for Seminole earlier. They were able to narrowly pull that one together, and I definitely expect this to be a competitive one. And it actually does look like we've got blue side going to be the A side spawn, so big advantage for the side of status quo in this matchup.
All right. We are good to go right here. And it's going to be status quo with strong side in the second half. So immediately you got to think that's going to give them some type of an advantage. But at the same time, you know this is a Tribe team that can slay out. And if they're able to capitalize on the time that they do have on strong side, could very easily snowball some score streaks. And Solo pushing very aggressively right there, able to get 1 kill off the start. Some of that progress onto B, really just trying to slow down this Tribe team. Neither team getting a huge start, but Parrish going to find a 2-piece right there, and that should start to open things up for Tribe.
Enemy taking
Yeah, you can definitely see that as a factor as we move on here. Tribe going to get that progress early on B, which is to be expected on a C side. However, normally we would consider the A side to have a stronger push just on where the spawns are locked in at the beginning of a game, and just can't win the gunfights. And Ban slides through, finds another 2. Envy picks up 1 onto Blur. Solo and Washi are able to get some refrags, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to help get them ground onto B, as we have 3 players of Tribe chilling and guarding that flag. And they need an advantage in the first half. It'll give them a little bit more opportunity in the remainder of this game, specifically that second half. the more cushion they have to try to make a flip or try to make some progress on B, the better. And it's not an easy one. Again, that spawning for this map specifically on C side is incredibly punishing to the opposition. So
yeah, I'm fully expecting both of these teams to play super passive, even though it is a game of domination, because right now, if you are status quo, your main goal is to not give up score streaks. Right now, if you're Tribe, your main goal is to play for score streaks. So both of those are going to result in teams just not trying to play anything aggressive right now. Closest player for Tribe is going to be Marshy. He's going to find another one right there. He's on a 4 streak, getting close to that Fred, but what you're really trying to work toward is those sentries, those Goliaths, and right now he's not going to be able to stack anything. So if you're status quo, you're pretty happy with the way things have gone so far. Washi gonna hop topside, finds another kill. Every kill means a score streak ended. Washi probably gonna get shut down right here. Nade's gonna land, but their main objective, not to push for that B control. They're just trying to play as well as they can on the weak side and minimize the impact that Tribe gets from being here on strong side.
We've taken the lead.
yeah, about a 40-point lead right now for the side of Tribe. The B progress was coming through big, but Marshy, Holger in hand, able to find a big 2. Chico was looking to throw a smoke, might have dinged his teammate on the head, so not going to get out of that one. And Tribe maintained that B flag cap for the pretty much entire round, which is going to give them that solid 33-point lead going into the second half. That is a pretty big cushion where they have some opportunity. Maybe they can get a flip here in the second half, and if they do, could be devastating to the side of Status Quo, who again I would have been leaning a bit against in this matchup in the first place, but you definitely cannot count out how strong the C-side advantage is.
Yep, and right now, if you're Tribe, you want to do one of 2 things. You either want to, by some miracle, maintain B control for the entirety of the half, or you want to push and see if you can flip for C. The main thing you would like to do is flip for C, but right off the bat, we do see Status Quo taking that B control and not giving up any type of an edge over towards C. So you see Bolu pushed way up. He's their one opportunity. He's going to get shut down, banned. They're trying to get the breakthrough as well, but right now, if you're Status Quo, you know what their exact game plan is, and you know what your main objective is to avoid it. Ban does have a Sparrow that he could potentially work with. He's going to find Solo right there. Actually, a beautiful 2-piece, and that's going to open up the B site. And right now, if you're Tribe, your best opportunity is probably to try to just tick away a little bit at this B control. Obviously, it's going to be really tough to maintain that for a long time. But if you do what they do right there, they get B for right now. Not going to be easy to hold, but the more time that you get the right there, the less time that you have to worry about things turning around for Status Quo. So, Solo looking to push on in. He's going to find one. Bolu trying to play spoiler. I'm not sure why he hasn't contested yet. Going to go ahead and peek right here. MX9 comes out, gets the kill, able to shut things down, and Tribe now starting to look like they might be able to hold this for long enough to be able to push it to triple cap territory for Status Quo.
Yeah, we're seconds away from triple cap territory at that, so if we want to see something out of Status Quo, they need to make it happen, and with the position that Tribe is in right now, I just do not see it coming through. Triple cap territory is achieved by the side of Tribe, and that's a big opportunity coming out of the side of Tribe to pick up the points.
Oh, they're taking C. Oh, it's GG's. That's game.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely over. I mean, we're in triple cap territory. C is a fraction away
There's
from
Marshy.
coming through.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, comes through, locks it out, and great game to these two teams. Again, picking up that search is key for the side of Status Quo, who definitely needed to at least come out of here with 5 points. They're gonna be able to grab that. Tribe, they get the win, but not the 20 points they were probably looking for.
Yeah, and right now, Status Quo trying to get B, trying to get C. At this point in the game, you need a triple and you need to hold it for a really long time, and especially with the way that Tribe's playing. Don't see that happening anytime soon. Tribe played this to absolute perfection, even with strong side in the second half. They applied that B pressure for as long as they needed to, and then once they got Status Quo out of position, got that early C cap, or that easy C cap, and from there, it's just GG's. They played that absolutely to perfection. They get the 15 points, which is what they needed, and that gets them pretty close to the top of the scoreboard. Taking a look, they were at 60. That should push them up to 75. Status quo is 5. Will keep them tied for first place with 11T. But right now, you look at that number 1 spot. Things are tight. And even if you look 4 through 8, things still not too far apart. Obviously, Storm and Seminole got some work to do, but they've shown streaks of really, really good potential. And overall, I think this is going to be a crazy end of the Mobile Mayhem season.
Yeah, I definitely got to agree with you there, and I'm glad we had a solid best of 3 coming here for the side of Tribe and Status Quo earlier as well. You mentioned Seminole. They were able to pick themselves up 15 points in that matchup with Devious, who was looking incredibly solid, and just wasn't able to close out that game. I think that one, if you guys wanted the game from tonight to go back and watch the Tribe versus Status Quo and watch the Seminole versus Devious, because that domination, if I remember correctly, came down to like an 11-point game, like a 150 to 139. So definitely some players to be on the lookout there for Devious.
Yeah. Definitely exciting to see even in the mid-season, but that is going to wrap things up for tonight. It is a little bit of a late ending. It is 11 o'clock right now, so I'm going to go ahead and go to sleep. But I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you casting with me, Day. Appreciate our admins taking care of everything for us. And overall, I am excited for the future of Mobile Mayhem and excited for the closeout of this season. Just a reminder, Thursday's matchups will be over on Day's channel, so if you guys want to watch those, make sure you're following him on Trofo and on YouTube. But that's going to be it for the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and we will catch you guys in the next one.